I'll chase you to the ends of the earth. What's up, everybody? How are you all doing? And yes, I did do that thing. Yes, I did. You're going to notice it right away. I know it's very obvious. So there's a reason for it. I had to. So, no, not a job stuff. More of a restarting process. So, anyways, how are you all doing? We had a great, huge crowd here right away. You guys are commenting like crazy. What's up, Putin's cat? The Comic Relief Crusader, just another red shirt. What's up, red shirt? My Toxic Tuesday colleague, Caffeinated Wolf. What's up, Andrew? Good to see you here. Good get on your collection, by the way, dude. Seriously, freaking awesome. Vulcan lives. I'll be showing off your sweet haul real shortly. Hey, Dave C, RSQ 001, Guagnar, Keely Chow, D Bud Martin, whose package arrives tomorrow, by the way. Looking forward to that, D Bud. Hey, 5 picoseconds. Hey, Pilshes. Oh, got the tours. Nick is a chick. Mohammed said, hey. Oh, who are you? What'd you do? Lemmy is on vacation and he'll be back in about 3 weeks. So you're stuck with this lesbo version of Lemmy. So tough shit. I promise though, I'll still drink as much alcohol. So hopefully that balances out for something. So how are you all doing though? Good to see you here. All right. So, anyways, for my Dolph Lundgren members, I said things would happen, things are gonna come. And D-Bub Martin's supposed to get his package tomorrow. Vulcan Lives got his yesterday. Chernobyl's ships out tomorrow. And I figured, let's show people that this is a real thing. This exists and that it definitely should be noticed because Vulcan Lives got his sweet package. As I said earlier on, it would be bottle openers, it would be stickers, handwritten personalized letter, and of course, blah, 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 blah. Oh, personalized gift adjusted for your package. So, anyways, let's show off Vulcan Lives what he got yesterday because it deserves to be seen. So just so you guys see, those are huge stickers. Straight up huge stickers. They're almost they're like a percentage of that Starlight trade paperback. So for Vulcan's package, I got him Starlight, brand new trade paperback. I had that special ordered at my shop, brand new. Like even though it was already in one shop, I'm like, I need you to get a brand new copy straight from the distributor, and he was able to get one, and I knew that was going to be his thing. I knew that was going to be his awesome. So I was like, all right, cool, awesome. And D Bud, he's got something coming up, and obviously Chernobyl. I have Chernobyl's package all set, just got to be shipped out tomorrow. And yeah, I'll get the rest of the guys. Lester, Deleted Scenes, Diesel, they're all going to be done next week as well. So yeah, this is the perks of becoming a Dolph Lundgren member. Just saying, when you are a Dolph Lundgren member, you get the huge perks. So these are, once again, Dolph Lundgren member exclusive, the bottle opener and the stickers. The only other way you can get them is if you see me at a meetup. Just saying. So it pays to be a member, as they like to say. But I'm glad you're happy, Vulcan. Let me know when you have finished Starlight. I want to know your thoughts. And D-Bud, that'd be awesome. Also, make sure you have if you have like a box cutter and scissors, have them both on hand because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. I packaged them pretty good. Hey, what's up, Joe Dog? How you doing? Yeah. Dude, yeah, it is so good. Oh, we're showing off a huge package, huh? Huge package. But let's bring in our dudes here. All right. So Caster will be here because he's Iron Caster. And you know what? He's got a life too. And that's all right. We like our Iron Caster. He's a good guy. He's a great guy. But let's bring in the Clobberer. How's it going, Clobby?
How should I know?
How should you were just talking Daredevil with J-Man?
Yeah, it's going great. That's what I meant. I just need to remember. Yeah, I'm old. My memory sucks, buddy. You know that. Let me see here. Let me give an honest critique of your new look, if you don't mind. Here you go. Somehow, it makes you look less intelligent. And before you're offended by that, you're not. You look beautiful. It's a quote from the Planet of the Apes original film when Charlton Heston shaves his beard off. Roddy McDowell's Cornelius looks at him and says, "Somehow, it makes you look less intelligent." But I thought, no, you're fantastic, brother.
Oh,
Look
thanks,
good.
man.
Don't let them tell you different.
Oh, dude, my oldest, she was
Not happy. Oh, come on, really?
She said, "You need to grow your face fur." She said, "You need, Dad, you need to grow your face fur back." I was just like, "Oh, okay,
Oh wow,
yeah." She's
discontent.
yeah, she's about as discontent about it as her discontent
Oh
is for
man,
Johnny Storm. So these are the two things I gotta put up with in my life.
what's up, chat? Good to see you, my
Yeah.
buddies. All right, great chat, great chat.
And I'll before I bring in some of our dudes, I fear the Great Conquest deserves this comment highlighted. I knew he was reading like issue 28, 29, and 30, which are great issues, by the way, dude. But Cobby
Yes.
deserves to acknowledge this comment right here.
32 layers of Nikolai Klobby. I have finally reached annual 2 of Fantastic Four. Oh my goodness, man.
Dude's a cruiser.
Dude, he has been reading some classic FF. And you got some, I mean, right? Getting close. We into the thick of the Kirby run, which is, of course, the only run. I mean, let's just be honest here. But that, dude, I'm so happy when you with these updates you've been, that you've been doing, that you've been making for that, and I love it, man. That's fantastic stuff. I think that's a Doctor Doom one, isn't it?
Yeah, one of them is I think it's 30 or 31. That's a Doctor Doom one.
No, but the annual number 2 is like 64.
The annual. That I think that's a Doctor Doom as well. Sorry, I'm mixing my issues because I think it was 30 where it was Diablo. 30 is Diablo.
Yeah, that's 30. Yeah, that's the regular
Nazi
issues. Diablo
with the Watcher. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but no, you're cool. I understand. Dude, you know my memory. But anyway, I believe it's a Doc Doom issue, but that's great stuff. Love it. Very cool.
I love the updates, by the way, dude. I love wake up in the morning, checking my Gilded feed. And I love seeing these updates. That's the stuff that excites me to see that you're so invested and you're making it happen, man. That is how you do it. Yeah, D-Bud, definitely check our comic feed because this man is slaying. He's straight up. He is slaying it with.
Yeah,
he is on cruise control, or in this case, cruise uncontrol.
There you go. Muhammad is an awesome dude, and he's been reading a lot of. So he read, we were reviewing Kirby's Fourth World, and before we started the Miller's run on J-Man's channel, and he started reading some of those. He's been reading some of Kirby's Fourth World stuff, and now Kirby's FF. Way to go, man! Nick, something maybe I should have mentioned earlier. I think I mentioned it. You were with Thomas the other day. This past Tuesday. Marked 30 years to the day that we lost the King of Comics.
Yes, you said it was on a Sunday when it happened. Yeah,
so
right.
I remember getting that was one of the saddest days of my life, getting that phone call on the Sunday that it happened, like a couple hours after it happened in 1994. And man, a buddy of mine who was an artist in the industry at the time called me, and because there's no internet really to speak of, there was nothing. Information didn't travel that quickly unless you're like a super popular, or well-known person. And amongst comic people, he certainly was, but and so 30 years, can't believe it. But well, he's never ever going to be gone, and everything that he created will live on forever.
Yeah,
king.
Dude,
hail to the king.
No, we're definitely gonna do a cheers tonight for the king. It's the least we could do. We're definitely gonna acknowledge the king, his legacy, his greatness. That'll be one of like several things we're gonna definitely touch on tonight. It's super necessary. It's the least we could do. And yes, Keely Chow, I use clippers. I didn't do exactly a razor based shave, but I did a deep trim where it was like I had like a 1. So it will all grow back. Like I said, I had to get rid of it. I actually had to. There's some issues with the facial hair, and It's gonna grow back and it's gonna be fresh and brand new looking. So it was looking a little old and weary. So it needs to be brand new looking again. So what's up, Bodega Outlaw? All right, let's bring in Pablo here. How's it going, Pablo?
Howdy ho! Hey, I was hearing what you guys were talking. Annual 2, I believe, is the Wizard and is the introduction of the Salem 7.
I'm pretty
If
sure
I,
it was I think it was an annual FF2 was like Doctor Doom. Was it not?
I need to check. Yeah, I also have been reading the original run for the Fantastic Four, but
Oh.
I'm not
I think that
nearly
was the
that.
origin. I think they have his origin in that issue, in annual number 2. It was a big sucker. I used to have that, of course, so I sold my collection like in the 90s. Long sad story.
That
I need
is a sad
I
story.
need to
All
read
Doom.
faster. I
All
need to
Doom
read
said
faster.
debug too. He confirmed it. Yeah.
Dude, but I actually think that that era of comics, especially if you talk about Fantastic Four and about the Spider-Man, is the best era because it was creative enough, but also because a lot of the powers were not completely set. They had some experimentation that gave them a lot of interesting stories. So it was really crazy, especially if you think Johnny Storm, the whole concept of going supernova, of actually going that uh, with that amount of heat. I don't know, that hot. I think it was introduced after issue 10. So before that, he was basically like the Human Torch on Captain America, but obviously he was not
The
an
original
android.
Jim Hammond.
Yeah, but later they started experimenting with a lot of his powers, also for Sue Storm, the way that his hair force field works and everything, and it's really cool just
Yeah.
reading. And they have these huge explanations. They have full pages of explanations on how the powers work, and everything is killer, man. It's full
Yes, sir.
creativity.
Dude, I can't wait. You know what? I think that times out greatly. Everything you're saying, Pablo, with something Diva posted here.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
think we should-
agree.
I think we should do this.
Let's do it.
I think
Yes.
I think I'm trying to think what would be a good time. I think probably around May, maybe late April, early May. I think we could do it around then. We could definitely do it around then. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'm
There you
there.
go. We got a month of Fantastic Four coming out. There you go, D Bud. The market speaks. Your wish
We
is your
should. Okay,
command.
I just want to say this. We should do it on April, the fourth month of the year.
Okay. Oh, so now we have to. Now we have to.
Fantastic Four
Okay.
on the fourth.
Yeah, done. Let's do it. Okay. April it is.
Unless you
All
want,
right. And
unless you
yes,
wanted
D
to wait
Bud,
till,
of course you're invited.
unless you wanted to
Yes.
wait till August when the first issue did come out in 1961. So
Hmm.
it would be an anniversary of
the
sorts. It would be.
conflict.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
dude,
love
that's
that
true.
idea.
You're right. August is the anniversary. Oh, why is it so tough?
But we don't have to wait that long.
I know, but that either way, it's a win. You could either do F4 for April, or you could do August to the exact month.
Mhm.
That's a very valid argument, Clawby.
It'll be the 63rd anniversary.
You're right. No, you're right. Oh boy,
Oh man.
it's tough. I don't know. Either way, we're doing it. And yes, D Bud, you're on the show for it. You were absolutely
Oh
on
hell
it.
yeah.
You're absolutely
yeah.
on it. Yeah, full stop, without a question. We'll have to discuss it throughout the show, but we got an Ironcaster who's patiently weighing back, and an eye of Nodak. How are you doing in the chat? Sabios played Ed Sullivan show 6 years. Wow.
Yep.
Legacy there. Wow.
Shake it
All
up,
right.
baby.
How's it going, Ironcaster?
It's going good, though. Apparently, Charlie decided he wanted to be here today. Yeah, it's
Oh, hi, Charlie.
No, Ironcaster,
what happened to
be
your
very
face?
careful. I don't want you to be mean to that Muppet because it might trigger Will Wheaton.
Oh wait, no. Oh. Let's put him
Oh,
down.
you better contain him. You better contain him.
I guess you all know about that.
Dude, it looks weird
gonna
on
call Louis
camera
now.
when one of your hands is on his neck, but knowing that the other hand is on his butt is worse.
Look over there.
You know about the Will Wheaton thing?
Oh,
Will
Yeah,
Wheaton, you heard about
I
it?
know that name. I do know that name, and I
Wussy
don't know
Crusher?
why I know that. I don't know why I know it. Maybe it's just not coming to me.
You heard the story, Ironcaster?
I did. I saw the original clip of
Okay.
Larry David with Elmo.
Ooh.
Will Wheaton, the
I
idiot
think I
Wesley
know what you're
Crusher.
getting at now.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway,
I know
Let
what you're
me
getting
cover
at.
his ears. He doesn't want to hear it.
It was bad. It was so horrible. I was triggered.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Will Wheaton was, not me.
The boys over at the Cotton Council, they never quite got over it.
That was ridiculous.
You know what?
Oh,
I kind of need my hand. Can I have that back?
No.
Okay. All right, look, I got to do a show. Can we go? We'll do this later, okay, Charlie? Yeah, okay.
Okay. Can you just
What
come
happened to your
back
fake?
later? What happened to me? Well, I did a deep trim. Okay, you'll survive. Okay.
Nick Weiser needed material for a new puppet.
He's gonna get excited now. I gotta go tell the others.
Go ahead.
By the way,
tell
Caster?
the teacher.
Caster, I need to compliment your shirt.
Thank you.
Yo!
Ooh,
Yo!
what's it say?
Oh, it's a One Piece thing.
Yeah.
So
Nick-
Spoil it because I still want to.
Yeah.
I gotta seek out my book 4.
Yeah, you
'cause I
haven't
have my
seen Brook
book
yet.
5. I want to read more of it. I really do. I swear.
I mean,
I'm trying.
just to point it out for you, Nick, I believe the Shonen Jump app, which is like the official like Viz translation stuff, has the first like basically 10 volumes available for free because of the Netflix series.
I want to. I gotta think about it. I'm weird because I like holding the book in my hand, and it's one of those things I actually want to buy, and I love that experience. But at the same time, it's so good. Do I let that urgency get
I will.
me?
Okay, I will
That's
tell you
tough.
this, Nick.
Ah.
If you read it on a screen, you will have the same experience as the 99% of One Piece fans, because most of us either read the scans or go to the app. Because
Yeah, with the way it's been coming out, like we basically get like what 3 chapters a month basically.
Yep.
Pablo.
1 week or the rest.
Yep. And on the 3rd week he rests.
My son never misses it.
Yeah, and it so to the point where it trends whenever a new chapter comes out. And actually, speaking of that, apparently this week a couple of manga pirates.
Yeah,
Pretty
the
infamous manga
scanners.
pirates.
Yeah.
Let
Okay,
me
this
pull
is
up an
the
article for you.
situation. The owners of a store in Japan, actually in the same town as Oda lives, were getting the issues in advance to place in the store and everything, the normal, right? They will do the scans and they will send it to a team that will have the manga translated and in a pirated site. Basically 5 to 6 days before the official app will get it. So they were the fastest to release the manga, but their translation was absolute garbage. So actually, if you want to go to the pirated stuff, you will go to a better tier. You will be basically at the same time as the official release, but who cares? It's actually really well translated, and the quality of the scans was is top notch. These guys were not that fancy. The quality was really crappy, so the speed was
Here's the article.
yeah.
So this is a story from a niche gamer, kind of going over a little bit of basics.
Yeah, no, let's highlight this. And by the way, before you go, what's up, Otis Ottenberry? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for dropping in. Carry on,
And
Caster.
real quick, just below that, 5 picoseconds. Like that is, oh my gosh, that is one of the best story arcs of the series, and that's saying something considering it just keeps getting better and better. And then you're like, I love this part here.
Every
And then it
issue is
gets
the
better.
best. I don't know how. God damn it. Every single issue, I'm like, they cannot top this. Next issue, oh shit, they cannot top this.
But anyway, like I am so happy for your friend because he's getting to like one of the absolute best parts of the series.
Yes.
It's those deep emotional resonances that will have grown men crying over this series.
I'm already feeling that, and I don't know anything.
Oh,
But anyway,
oh, man.
we'll save that for when Nick gets there in
Mhm.
2030.
Yeah, right. I'm at a Mauler speed with the rate that I'm going with this, but it's
At this rate, he'll never get to Berserk.
I will tell you this. If you go really, really fast, and I mean really, really fast, you may end the manga at the same time as the people that have been reading it weekly for years. Because it's so goddamn long that it will take you a long time even reading it fast.
So anyway, two individuals have been arrested in Japan for reproducing the data of several manga magazines over the course of a year. So these guys have been doing this for quite a while. Foreign national Musa Samir and one unnamed suspect are accused of obtaining access to manga magazines like Weekly Shonen Jump, which is where One Piece and a lot of other manga are released every week as part of a anthology book. See, at least 2 manga scan sites have closed down shortly after the arrests were made, and at least one of the sites appeared to have been particularly egregious for leaking the One Piece chapters. So, like before these are even like hitting street date in Japan, these guys were getting these out there, and so because the rich fan translation community of manga addicts, this stuff is getting around the world like within days.
It's a good thing, right? It's a good thing.
Yeah, I
we want it to get around.
I wanted to say this to 5 picoseconds. Nico Robin is really handy.
I mean, it's expected.
Hi, Fenrir. How's it going, man?
And
It's going great, buddy.
You know,
Nice
one of my
to see
favorite
ya.
one of my favorite parts of this series is it's gotten so much love and affection. They've gone and built statues in Japan of all the characters as part of like a big relief effort to a big relief effort for one of the tsunamis. I believe it was either a tsunami or earthquake that it hit. And so each one of the Straw Hat crew members has this like bronze statue in like the hometown of Oda. And people now go to the Nami statue, and they will leave money as sort of a good fortune.
Wow, that's incredible.
You see, that's the beauty of it. This is a modern mythology right here. This is the birth of mythology.
Yeah, no, that is
Today is a
that's
cartoon.
legendary status.
50 years from now, it's literally going to become a religion.
Right. But yeah, that was basically just a little story that came out this week. That these couple pirates got arrested.
Fenrir, I will say this. You are not so wrong, especially because now we have a god in the mix. Also, the opening for the newest season is basically a religious hymn. So, if you hear it, the chorus sounds like you are on a church. So, you are not.
So, I want to ask, particularly Caster, did you read Conan this week?
So I'm
shit.
So I'm slowly getting caught up. I haven't fully got there yet.
Oh,
I think I'm on like I'm
Oh,
currently
it's good.
I've currently got like issue 4 sitting on my coffee table. I gotta get to. That's like how
Oh,
far.
you still haven't even finished the first arc yet, dude. This is of the second arc with Doug Breathwaite on the pencils. This is the best issue of this second arc, and holy brutality, holy mysticism, outstanding narration, and also it like I will say, like, even though I miss De La Torre, I am starting to come around to Breathwaite's art. It's not that it's even bad; it's good. It's just when you're following up De La Torre, that's a tough act to follow, but it's good and it fits Conan. And man, the greens on here for the colors, it's got a great ending too that sets the stage for a good cliffhanger for the finale of the second arc. And I'm just like, oh, I can't wait. Oh, so highly recommended. I'm just, dude, this was good. This was
Is Jim
good.
Sub still writing it?
Oh yeah, his goal is he wants to do like 50 issues.
Okay.
He wants to do a long term, because I remember his interview with Andre from Midnight's Edge right before the first issue came out, and his goal was he's like, I want to do like a big 50 issue run. And De La Torre is coming back for the third arc, starting with issue 9. Yeah, but there's still a lot of the classic layouts too. Still has an old comic feel of the older of the layouts, so it's the layout is still very familiar, much like what was with De La Torre's art too. So it's still very familiar layout, and the characterization is still intact. So, but also on top of the mysticism, the brutality in this season. This is saying a lot because we've seen a lot of brutality in this whole spiel. 6 issues in, this issue, it's even more so. It's even a whole lot more so. It's like, holy crap, how much more brutal can this get? And yet there's still a lot of meat to the bone with it. It's not like it's just there because it's there. It is there. Yeah, I'm so happy with this Conan run thus far.
Oh, see, I did. Let me go off camera here. I'll show you a couple of the books I picked up this week.
Dude, I need to set up an alert for the Conan issues. I have an alert for the Transformer issues because goddamn, it's going really, really good. Transformers is actually going really, really good. Fenrir,
Yeah,
have
it's
you?
just so beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dude.
the perfect rendition of Optimus Prime, man.
Dude, this is stupid. There's that scene when Optimus is using the last remaining of the Allspark to fix the
Yeah, to save the
generator.
kid, yeah.
Yeah, fucking hell,
Oh, and
man.
that scene with the little cancer kid and Optimus just standing there transforming for him. My God, that just grabs your heart.
Yeah, but with Conan, I completely forgot to set up an alert, and it's a dude. You have to read it. You have to read it.
Yeah, I haven't actually read any of the Conan books lately.
Is okay.
Dude,
I will tell you this.
Read it. New Conan is great.
Yeah, it's a bit different to what you will get for the original run of Conan as Pulp, right? But it's still really, really interesting. It's still really brutal. The thing is that it's more pure fantasy than Pulp. Still, I'm digging that. I miss those pulpy elements. I miss that just going into random adventures that you used to have. But it's still really good, man.
All right, good to
Sorry,
hear.
I'm eating
No,
peanuts.
it's good. Now, my only I guess you could say it's a nitpick. Probably earlier on in the first arc, and it seems like it's definitely straightened out more in the second arc. But in the first arc, it seemed like there's some dialogue that seemed slightly out of place, didn't seem a little Conan like throughout the book. that was just a few odds and ends bits, nothing extensive.
Mhm.
It was very rare, I guess you could say. But we're really not getting on the second arc. So
The thing is that
I love the narration, though. I feel like the
mhm.
narration has been insanely consistent, and I love it because it really adds to the heaviness of what's on Conan's mind as he sees things as they develop.
This thing of going into arcs, if you know how Robert E. Howard published originally Conan, because of the structure of pulp, was just a bunch of small stories packed together instead of this overarching arc. And I'm feeling that they actually are trying to go somewhere. Dark Horse Comics actually was really on point when they were doing these small stories without much connection, because that felt more like pulp. That felt more like a serialized thing. This feels like this is a structured story going straight up to somewhere, and that's the only part that I don't like because of the way that Conan should be. Conan, even when you go to King Conan and everything, is still a bit disconnected. You don't really know where everything fits. So having a structured timeline kind of messes with that sensation. That sensation of you are hearing from somebody that was there and something might be inaccurate, but you are getting the gist of it. Here is like, no, this is the proper story, this is the strict timeline, and it's the same as when they were doing the Phantom comic.
Mm-hmm.
It misses a bit of that sensation of you can sit down and read from any point and get immersed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my only complaint, but other than
It's a
that,
fair complaint. I mean, I don't personally mind it as long as there's a good payoff to it when it's all said and done. Because obviously, when you do that unorthodox structure of having different stories in different periods of time, you have to make sure it all ties together. That's obviously a bigger gamble rather than just a storyline that goes in proper order. I can understand that can definitely be a little bit much for some, and that's fair. That's a very fair argument. I would never even try to dispute that. And you definitely had that much more pressure on you. So it's like, okay, whatever you're building towards, it better pay up because this could be a little bit, I don't want to say overwhelming, but
Mhm.
definitely like, okay, you're going to have to make me pay extra attention now to all the details. And if I'm going to have to do that, this better work. So yeah, I do feel like the pressure is on for them to, especially Mrs. Zub, to deliver in this regard. But if the
yeah, the
payoff
thing
is
is that
good, I will not complain. As
we
of now,
know
I'm still
Mhm.
not complaining because I like where this is going. I really like where this book is
we
going.
know what's the
Having a
payoff.
lot of fun.
That's the thing. We know what's the payoff. We know that he's getting the Iron Crown. That's
Mm-hmm.
the payoff. That's basically where Conan needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
Every road, any story that you write, it's going exactly to that, to Conan with the Iron Crown, him being King Conan, and well, basically him being also the basis for the Wheel of Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's where you are getting.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are doing this perfect timeline, you gotta nail every single step, because if people drop off before the pay up, uh kinda will lose all the power, will
Mm-hmm.
lose all that extra oomph. And the art is beautiful, the story is great, a bit fantasy, but there was something about old pulp that was not completely fantasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have that extra of mystery, that extra of embellishment that was not just mythology and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you are going deeper into the mythology, you gotta nail every single step. You gotta nail everything.
Yeah, no. And once again, that's valid. I'm not gonna try disputing. And yeah, it better be a good payoff. I think right now, as where we are at with this, I feel like right now we're in a good trajectory to get to a good, strong finish. Now, obviously, that could change, and I could be jinxing it. But the fact that there's still, right now, we're at point now, 7 issues. We got one more issue later this month, which will conclude the second arc. Interest is still strong for this book. People are really enjoying this, which is great to see. And people are going to get even more hyped when the third arc hits with Roberto coming on. And obviously, it seems like Zub has had this plan for some time. The fact that he had talked about the number of issues he was going for, what he has had in mind, and also he had also been doing Conan all the way back with Marvel. So I think he's had a lot of this in his head for years to get straight.
One of the few things that Marvel did right in the last years was actually that they were doing Conan and they were doing King Conan at the same time.
Oh
And
yeah, I remember.
both runs were really good.
I remember when Conan the license was at Marvel, they were giving Zub flack about going on Midnight's Edge to promote it, even though the book wasn't selling well. They're like, well, why not put this book in front of new potential customers?
They were not promoting it. They were absolutely not promoting it, and it was
And this guy was actually trying to do his job and promote the book. Like, what
you know why they were?
Logic is that?
You know the reason why they were not promoting the book so hard, right? Because they had that a small clause on the contract that they could not modify Conan or get any DEI or wokeness inside of it. They could not manipulate the story in any way to get more diversity. They had to be in line with the original vision. And because of that,
they were embarrassed by it.
Yeah, they were trying to hide the Conan issues.
Yeah, they didn't want to be the book that was representative of the company at all. I'm aware of that. That much is definitely not lost on me. It wasn't the book that they wanted to be known for. They wanted it to be something else. And obviously, there were people who were talking about Conan. Granted, it wasn't selling that well.
They wanted safe space and Frostbite or something to be the face.
Yeah, right. Snowflake and Safe Space. Yeah, no, they wanted those types of books. It's once again absolutely crazy when we had these people like, hold on, we want this book to take off, but the fans like, no, but we like this. Like, I'm not gonna like pretend like there was probably never any manipulation by a corporation to try to get something to take off. I'm sure there's probably even always been it to some extent. But the way that it's happening now is like insane because we've always seen them always trying to do something. And it's one thing if you're giving a shot and people respond. It's like, okay, we gave a shot. People responded. Okay, we're going to continue going.
Nick.
And if something doesn't take off, okay, we tried to give so-and-so a push. It didn't work. Move on. But nowadays, something doesn't work. Like, no, has to take off. We can't accept that.
And
how many times have they gone and rebooted Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel?
15 times and counting.
Get worse each and every single time they do it. That's
and they never make it past issue number 5. That is a
you can make a drinking game. You take a shot every time they launch Miss Marvel number 1. You will get plastered in no time. Because that bitch got number 1 almost every minute of the day.
All right. I'm going to do a few acknowledgments. What's up, Abigor? How's it going, Tyrannus Cygnus? And what's up, Deers? And yes, Conan's book was doing pretty good. And Jack Tarlett, how you guys doing? So, God, what was I going to mention now about we were talking about Conan. I lost my train of thought because I'm acknowledging people. I'm sorry, people. I was trying to acknowledge you, and then I lost my train of thought. Yeah. Maybe I need a drink.
See, you see, no one was going to expect you to come out and reveal that you're actually dropping Conan from your pull list.
Oh, Oh, that would actually be kind of shameful.
Do
Actually,
you have a pull list, Nick?
do I? Yes.
Mm.
There is no Marvel DC on it.
Nope.
Um,
I haven't had
There's
one in
no-
like 14 years now.
no, that's
Black.
okay. Yeah, it happens, man. And I don't necessarily blame you. I mean, for me, like I'm reading Conan. I actually added Saturday Morning Adventures TMNT recently. I am surprised with how good that has been. It has definitely passed the test of it's been more than enough issues now where they would do the thing, but it's been good. TMNT, Saturday Morning Adventures, it's just like the late 80s cartoon with the wacky dialogue that they would say in those children's cartoons. And of course, the Energon Universe books. I'm really enjoying those. Of course, Conan the Barbarian. I am going to check out some of Jeff Johns' Ghost Machine Universe books when those come out. I do want to check some of those out because obviously he's got to finally make Geiger into an ongoing. And I know he's got that, which I know he's going to have Gary Frank on, and he's going to do that book with Brian Hitch called Red Coat. I like the look of that Red Coat book because it looks like obviously it's got that British guy who fought in the Battle of 1776. So I'm like, okay, this could be interesting. And then there's the book he's doing with Jason Fabek, Rook Exodus. So I'm gonna at least give those a look, see if any of them pique my interest. I know Peter Tomasi is doing a book too called Halo and Hornsby that I'm curious about, and Tomasi is a good way of doing books involving youthful characters. So I'm gonna at least check those out. But Transformers has been awesome. It has been, and I can't wait. And next week, issue 5 is happening. I can't wait.
Have you seen the previews for it?
I'm doing it on purpose to not check them out. But speaking of previews, and it's not a comic preview, let me get my Christmas-based Optimus Prime because Caster's seen it.
While we wait, Iron, I just need to say something really important. You don't drop Conan from your list. Conan drops you from a cliff.
Oh. Whoa.
No. That's beautiful. I love it.
Have you held the Matrix?
There we go.
Oh, I love the waist on him. He's even got like a little belt buckle.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's full Santa Claus, man.
Yeah, dude, straight up. So my next thing, so for those of you who saw my community posts a few weeks back, I did a posting. If I could get at least 60% down for it, I would consider doing some, maybe once in a while, the occasional Lego building stream. Let's just say this is what I was hinting at. So now you all know what I was hinting at. I am looking at this Lego Optimus Prime. This is not it, by the way. I'm talking about for the future. I want to do a Lego Optimus Prime, and I want to build that. Maybe I'd have Caster on to hang out and conversate with as I'm building Optimus. It's just something I'd like to do. And, I got around 62 or 63%, which is a good number. I'm like, okay, so we got it above 60. Because if about 50%, even 51 said yeah, and 49 no, I honestly, I just wouldn't do it because I want to make sure there's a good, significant portion that actually is genuinely interested. I want people to actually be invested in the things that I do because, I actually care about what the audience wants. Imagine that. Like, what a revolutionary twist that is. Hey, what's up, Osmoral199? Welcome, sir. Hopefully your Friday night is going good. Good to see you here.
Hey.
Maybe I am going for the Conan look. Maybe I am going for.
That's it. I knew it.
For the hair color, you will go more for a Tarzan look, but yeah. Dude, Tarzan is awesome. So,
dude, Tarzan is awesome. What's the problem?
Also, Pulp. Dude, Pulp had so many hits. So
well, what's old is new again. Like the fact that we're here to talk about all these new Conan books is like one of the biggest books out there. Like
Mhm.
what it's like the only thing Marvel has that has any interest right now is what Ultimate Spider-Man.
No,
Yeah.
man, they need to bring back the Phantom. They need to bring back Mandrake, Tarzan, Flash.
Mhm.
I mean,
The
obviously Flash Gordon.
pulps.
Yep, but
Like Razor Fist's video about bringing back the
Mhm.
pulps to be a thing again.
yeah,
He may have been onto something with that video, man. He may have been. Seriously, like it's interesting how when he brought that up, like the way forward is backward. He may
in
have
the
been
night,
on the seriously, he may have been on to something
yeah,
with that.
in the 90s and 80s, you had Tarzan movies, you had the Shadow movies.
Mhm.
I actually just renew a bit of my Plex catalog to have new things to watch. First thing new is
Mhm.
a cleaner version of the Phantom movie.
Mhm.
If you haven't
I
seen
actually
that
like the
movie,
Phantom movie. I
I just
thought
got
the
that.
yeah,
Phantom-
it was
I
good.
I just got that on Blu-ray. I love that.
Oh,
movie.
did you really?
Yeah, I got that release
Well,
for my
I'd say
Plex
just
server.
about a year ago, a buddy on gave it to me. Actually,
Still awesome.
yeah, love
Still
it.
I need to see
awesome.
that.
I love that movie.
You
A lot of
haven't
people
seen
don't,
it?
So
but
good.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I haven't seen the Phantom.
Oh, you have
you-
It's
to
good.
watch the
Billy
movie.
Zane
And
was from Australia, and he was a big fan of the character. He was so and you can tell in his performance. He loved it.
yeah. Also, if you can get the 90s animated series of the Phantom,
Mhm.
the
Shoot me,
animated
Gerard.
series is Phantom of the Future. So
I mean,
I don't.
2040.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a weird show. There, it didn't last long. Did it?
Mhm.
Yeah, it didn't last long, but it was actually going really deep into the mythology of the Phantom, and goddamn, was actually really good. I will tell you, it's
What's up,
difficult to
PA?
nail.
How you doing, man? Nice to see ya. What's up, Bulk Breaker? Thanks for
Hey,
dropping in, fellas. Nice to see a few extra fine gentlemen showing up.
Hell yeah. The thing about the Phantom is that the Phantom is actually a mantle.
it is a
So,
legacy,
yeah,
but
uh,
Lee Falk's Phantom is the 21st Phantom.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But the thing is that when you have a character that
He's
actually
Kit Walker.
gets,
He's Kit Walker.
yeah, it's really difficult to nail the personality of every single Phantom, and they have tried a couple of times. You have the original Phantom that he was on war with the pirates
Mm-hmm.
and got to mess with Pizarro, got to mess with the conquistadors, actually joined the native not Native Americans from North America, but the indigenous people from the Caribbean, from the Caribbean area, fighting against the Spaniards. It was a weird mix. But that's the origin of the Phantom. And then you have a couple of Phantoms on America. You have one that I believe is on the UK. And for a long time, we didn't really have much of the Phantom. And then we get the animated series. And the animated series is in the future on North America, but they go deep into the roots of the powers of the Phantom and the way that he needs to train and everything. And obviously, they get the connections with the African roots of some of the lore of the Phantom. It goes crazy over the top and is actually awesome.
I
Yeah.
think the Phantom needs to be discovered for Toxic Tuesday. That movie is my gateway into the character. I remember when I was living in, I actually we had just moved into Berwyn when I was a kid. And I remember this was when I guess my parents were still using public transportation heavily. And I remember we were at a booth waiting for our bus, and I remember the booth we were waiting at. I remember the first thing I saw was a poster for the movie The Phantom. I remember thinking to myself that the image of that poster, it struck my eye. I'm like, wow, that's a really cool poster. As a kid, it was such a cool thing to see. It really stuck out to me. And then, of course, I saw the movie. I think we saw it right when it came out on VHS because I didn't see it in theaters, but we saw it right when it came out on VHS. And I think, oh, this is a really cool movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, I gotta revisit that movie because I remember.
Man, the way you're
really
talking
liking
about
the
this
movie.
thing makes me want to check it out.
I didn't know it was a pulp character. I
But
learned
he wasn't
that
a pulp
later on in my
character. He was a
20s, but
strip.
at the time, it was just a cool movie. That
He
I
was,
was like,
he was
hell
actually
yeah.
not a pulp character. He was a strip character. He was
Oh,
technically the first costume superhero, but in comic strip form, in like 36 or whatever.
okay.
He started in King Features. He still to this day, he had a daily strip and a Sunday strip. Still to this day, he still has it.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee Falk, who created him, did him like right up till he died, like
Mm-hmm.
late 90s, 98, 99, 2000,
Mhm.
somewhere over there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so and there was at one point in the height of his popularity, like in the 60s or so, where he was so heavily syndicated around the world, especially here, over 100 million people were reading the character because of syndication back when newspapers were gigantic and stuff.
That's
circulation.
incredible.
And yeah, no one may know about him today that much, but the fandom was one of the biggest. Technically speaking, since he wasn't, I mean, he was in comic books later that were usually reprints of strips until the Charlton ones, but technically he's not the first comic book superhero because he didn't have quote unquote superpowers. He's probably, but as far as strips are concerned, he's the first costumed crime fighter.
I've heard
technically the first superhero with superpowers, of course.
I've heard similar stuff about God, what's his face? I can't believe what I'm lost. I just lost my train of thought with Captain Marvel, Billy Batson. Apparently he was so big at the time he used to be bigger than Superman.
Captain Marvel outsold Superman for quite a bit.
Imagine that
in the 40s and 50s. It was
So
close.
crazy. Yeah,
but
even then, it's just like it's one of those things I can't even imagine happening now. But the fact that was even a thing is like, whoa! Just like I heard about how big the Shadow was too, like how big his radio show was. I'm just like, man, it blows my mind the things that were big at the time. But I love learning about it. It's so cool to know what was for lack of a better word, huge at the time.
Didn't DC got so much pressure from Captain Marvel that they ended up outright buying it?
No, they basically through National, who would later become DC, put so much pressure on Fawcett Comics with the similarities between Superman and they fought in court for many years. They had a big, long, very drawn out, very complicated court battle, and around 1952 or 3, somewhere up in there. Eventually, Fawcett went out of business, and the character went stagnant for 20 years. They couldn't make any more Captain Marvel comics or the Marvel Family comics, and until DC brought him back later. But in the meantime, a company right before Marvel did it, I forget, AGC or whatever, did a comic about, then used the name Captain Marvel, and he was like a robot that could take his arms off, all kind of crazy stuff. And the book didn't sell. It was really weird. And so Marvel, Martin Goodman paid them like $4,600 or something like that to get the name. And that's how you got the Marvel Captain Marvel, the Marvel one. And so when DC decided to bring him back in the mid 70s, you couldn't name the title Captain Marvel. So they called it just Shazam on the cover. So that's the way it went there pretty much.
Really, just picking Shazam was pretty lazy. I mean, they could have done with anything.
What's that?
No, I just thought it was always lazy calling him Shazam.
Well, I mean, what else were you going to call the title? You couldn't call it Captain Marvel on the cover.
I mean, you could go Captain Thunder.
They already had, by the way, a couple years earlier than that, they had a character called Captain Thunder.
I think there was a Captain Thunder.
He appeared in a Superman
just
comic.
Something else, man.
But it was
just
a knockoff.
Shazam.
But when they got the ability to use the Marvel family, they took it. Just had to call. I mean, look, they took it. They had to call it Shazam, and they had to call the TV show Shazam, and that's just the way that one went. But
just Marvel had him over a barrel, basically.
Yeah, it sounds like they're cornered.
But DC deserved it. Look what they did to Fawcett. What they did to Fawcett was despicable. But
what's up?
All these cup. Hey, there's Venomous.
And then let's not forget. Dicks screwing up with other dicks.
Here you go.
That's
by nature. How you doing, buddy? Brian McCann. Hey, old Nick. I've been buying Bionic Man and $6 Million Man comics Writers seem obsessed with Hiller, 7 Million, Batman, Robot, Bigfoot, and Organic Monsters. You repeat these over and over. Well, that's good to know what you're buying. Thanks for letting us know. I'm always curious to know what people are interested in, what they're checking out and buying. That is what I like to see around here, man.
He makes
Hopefully you're
that's
there's a
kind of
char-
interesting.
glad to
there's a
hear
character
you're
from the $6 million Man TV show, played by Monty Markham. He was a $7 million man. Barney, it actually was named Barney Miller on the show but they changed his name to Barney Hiller because it turned out to be a TV show named Barney Miller. And in that comic, what he's saying, who is it? Was it Dynamite or who was doing that? So that $6 million Man comic recently. They keep bringing this.
I don't know.
Well, as fans of that show as a kid, we always wanted to see the $7 million Man come back. He was on like 2 episodes.
That's always kind of interesting to see like some of the more obscure characters people are collecting, because like he's collecting the $6 million Man. Conan is big right now, but sometimes just the interest people have in all these like random obscure characters is so fascinating.
No, it really shows you once again these characters transcend time. Like even though they're of from a particular point in time, people still have an interest in it. Sure, there's not as many, but it's clear that there's still a market for those characters. Regardless, I love seeing that. I absolutely love seeing that. And yes, Muhammad said, I agree. This was Doug's best issue yet. This week's Conan. I agree with you, sir.
A lot of that connection, why people kind of gravitate to these obscure characters, is more of a legacy thing. You have your father or your grandfather or somebody in your family that was into this character. So you get this small collection and then you get hooked. Is what happens to me with Tarzan. My grandfather was a fan of the Tarzan movies, and I mean the original Tarzan movies, the black and white ones. So, of course, whenever there was something else about Tarzan, he will go crazy and he will watch it, TV series or anything else. So obviously, I grew with Tarzan, and I grew wanting toys of Tarzan and watching the Disney movie and everything else. So no, I'm just a guy that randomly looks for more Tarzan stuff. The same happens with a lot of these characters, and you will think that means it's a reduced market, but that reduced market is more of a prestige market. So the amount of money that anything on that market will move is crazy. For example, having a nice statue. Statues cost a lot of money. And to be honest, the materials and all the process to make them, it's not that pricey. Actually, is really, really cheap. So the margin is huge there. You don't need to sell that many. You don't need to sell that many reprints of a comic that, to be honest, you just have lying around there. You have to color correct it and remaster it, and it's off to the presses. So it's really cheap, and because it's a prestige market, people will buy it for a high price. Rinse and repeat, and you get an actually profitable revenue source that doesn't really need that much attention. Marvel kind of forgets about that. Also, DC forgets a lot about that. Some
I
of
think
their
you're
more
giving too much credit saying that they forgot about more so that they just didn't care.
Yeah. For example, Nova. How much Nova material we get around? Not much, right?
No.
I can bet you.
Almost none at all.
Yeah, I can bet you. If you sell an original run of Nova reprint, it will sell out. If you sell a couple of figures, and I mean nice quality figures or statues of Nova, they will sell out because there's not much Nova, so people are hungry.
All right. So, all right. Yes, we do need more Richard Rider Nova when the world perfects itself, if it ever does, as far as Marvel's
When the
concerned. It
when the
doesn't.
world is ready.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
case it doesn't, I want to analyze a few things here. So now I do have a lot of friends who read this particular comic. I myself am personally not really interested in, but I know a lot of people who did read it, and I do know it brought back a lot of readers. And from what I've gathered from a lot of friends, a lot of shops, it seems to have sold well. Which I've always said, even if I'm not interested, or even if I just flat don't like it, I won't argue with it if there's a market for it. Ultimate Spider-Man did bring in people. Obviously, we'll have any official numbers go off of. If I had to guess educationally where it hit, I'm gonna guess somewhere between 100 and 200K is my guess. Maybe it did higher. But I'm just going to be very fair and try to be lean towards the underestimate number rather than overestimate. Obviously, that Ultimate Universe did have an audience for a while. There's no doubt, especially with the Spider-Man book. It also helps that it was a book with the family, Mary Jane, the kids. My question is, and it's not even more of a ideological issue. I mean, granted, that could still happen too. Spider-Man is a superhero comic book that has also a lot of, I don't want to say soap opera drama, but a lot of human elements to it. We'll just say human story to it. Jonathan Hickman, for better and worse, I feel like definitely in the better with his indie stuff, and I will emphasize the word worse with his Marvel stuff. He world builds for way too long. Way too long. Now I feel like if that might be his ultimate undoing for this book is him just going on and on and on with building up. And it's just I can't imagine myself being interested just because of that. I just can't get myself to bring myself because he's not really a guy who to make a book become super ideological. We'll just say that. Hickman, I just don't feel like he's a good fit for this type of book. I'm welcome for him to prove me wrong if throughout time and people I see people are still talking about it. Maybe I'll consider down the line, but as of now, it does it, I just don't see Hickman being the guy who's gonna bring Spider-Man long term to the forefront. Obviously, he's got a short term win. He does have his lines, but I feel like Hickman's one of those guys where I prefer his indie work.
Yeah, one of my biggest concerns with this book, and I had no doubt this was going to be like probably the best. This is probably Ultimate Spider-Man is probably going to be the best selling book of the month.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is long term. I'm just waiting for them to pull the rug out from under me. Like I do not, I haven't read it, so I'm leery of even picking up. I don't want to start getting
Fair.
into it and liking it only for them to pull the rug out from under me. Like
No,
I don't trust them.
I'm gonna be fair here, Hickman. If the rug gets pulled out from him personally, it's never really come from an ideological thing. Hyper partisan politicization. So unless another writer steps in and starts doing that, he's not really known for doing that. My issue is he's just way too slow for a character like Spider-Man. I'm not saying Spider-Man stories are this pedal to the metal hyper speed story, but they definitely move. They know how to hold a steady beat to a fast beat, fast to steady, not this slow thing that Hickman just drags. And yes, Brian McCann, I strongly agree. We could definitely use single issue storylines. I don't see that happening with Hickman. I don't see. I could see people being excited because they got their Ultimate Universe Spidey. There was an investment. I just don't see. I think 7 or 8 issues per dude. What's this guy trying to get to? And then people are like, "Oh, that's how he writes." So unless he changes things up, which I have a hard time imagining, I don't see it as an ideological thing. I think it's more of Hickman has a Hickman problem. and I feel like Hickman needs to get out of his own way. Is what I'm looking at from a bystander perspective.
I was a fan of his Fantastic Four and his Avengers stuff. I thought those were great.
I tried Avengers. It's just way too slow for me. I've tried. I just
It was,
Yeah, I tried it.
It-
That's
Slow is being nice.
But if you liked it, that's fine. I did have a lot of friends that liked it, and I do know that the Avengers book did do pretty good. So, as I said, I won't deny it. There's a market. Even if I'm not interested, a market's a market.
I should say I liked it when it came out. I
Okay.
wonder if I would still like it if I went back to it.
Okay, that's fair.
Like,
no, that's fair.
I acknowledge like there is an issue with it where they have like you have to pick up two simultaneous books going on that are trying to juggle four storylines.
Yeah,
It has its issues.
and I
but I
worry
liked
that
where they were
Hickman
going
will
with
do
it.
that again. I think Hickman would do that again, and I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't change. Yeah, but I do want to name one little thing that's good here. I like seeing Transformers having a hold. At issue number 4, it clearly has a hold, and it's clear that people didn't just come in for issue 1, and then that was it. People are responding, and they're coming back. I like seeing that with Transformers.
I've handed like issue 1 to a friend and I got him to read it and he was into it. I've gotten another guy to, start reading through stuff and I believe he now currently has Cobra Commander on his pull list. So it like this stuff is getting a audience to it. Just to give a little props to the Image stuff there because they're absolutely knocking it out of the park with these.
Who's behind Image right now?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because they have actually been trying to gather a lot of goodwill, but that's not normal in the current market. So gotta be somebody that actually knows what the comic book industry is, not one of these assholes on Marvel that just want to push something, but somebody that actually knows how to sell. But I haven't heard a name. I haven't heard somebody actually leading that charge.
Well, I mean, as it is,
Wouldn't it be kind of funny if there's no one there?
Yeah, actually, well.
Oh, so to answer your question real quick, it looks like we've got Todd McFarlane currently as president, Jim Valentino's VP, Mark
That
Silvestri.
explains a lot.
Mark Silvestri is the CEO, Kirkman as the COO, Eric Larson is the CFO. And by the way, have you guys heard about what's going on with him? Because like Eric Larson is like feuding with someone
Again?
Yeah, there was like this was kind of breaking a little news this week.
Okay, who is he fighting again?
Who isn't he fighting?
Exactly my point.
Larson's a tool.
Yeah, there was like one of the other Image co-founders that he's like feuding with.
Dude, that's a lot of the issue with the comic book industry, and this is nothing new. It has been going for basically the beginning of the comic book industry. We were talking about the whole issue with Captain Marvel. If you talk about Stanley, about Kirby, about Ditko, even later, if you think 80s, 90s, there has been a lot of infighting in the industry, especially between big houses. McFarlane had a lot of fights. So, but let's be honest, he kind of pulled his weight. So, when he asked for respect, kind of deserved it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of egos. There's a lot of Jimmy's Russell there. So, there's a lot of fighting all the time on the comic book industry.
It's almost at this point, almost not accurate to call it an industry anymore.
Yeah,
It's barely an entity at this point.
they have degraded that much, right?
Yeah.
If you think about the indie scene,
It's
the
been
indie
watered
scene,
down to almost
yeah,
nothing.
it's cool because there's nothing centralized, so they can evolve in any way that they want. The big houses are kind of stuck in their ways, so even if they get somebody that is really good, I have actually heard a lot of good about the Ultimate Spider-Man. There's a couple of titles that on Marvel that I have heard good things about. uh, they are even fighting with the fans all the time, and that takes away the goodwill.
Yep.
And it's just that, it's just egos. They are stuck in their way. So if they get somebody that is really good in one title, you will have a couple of issues, and then somebody will go like, no, I want that title because it's selling, and they will take over the title and run it into the ground. That happened with the Ultimates at the beginning. It was really good, and then a bunch of assholes got a hold of the Ultimates, and the Ultimate Universe basically went to shit.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yep.
do
My
you
hope just is that also too. I'm glad you mentioned it, Pablo. I feel like the Ultimate Universe right now is a bait. It's okay. Let's just pretend we actually fix a problem. They're gonna fix it with this other universe, not the main universe.
this is a reboot of the Ultimate Universe, right? Because the previous
Yeah.
Ultimate Universe got destroyed.
The maker is involved with this reboot.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's another thing that doesn't really make me wild. In all honesty, like I said, I do know people who are reading it and like it. I can't get myself.
Why
to
use
care.
the maker when you can use without explaining anything? Say the one above all decided to make this universe again or something like that, and that's it. You don't need to explain anything else. It's the one
No, I
above
think
all.
it's because they want an enemy that can be beaten while at the same time having some kind of interconnected point to it all. Just say that they've been playing this for years or some stupid crap like that.
You might have
That,
a point there, Fenrir. I mean, that
that's
would be
stupid.
giving some of them too much credit, but yeah, you could be right. That could be their whole thing. That maybe the maker has remade this universe and they want to make this a big grand storyline, which is once again, yep, another event.
Not another Secret War, man.
Yeah, right. we
Events.
yeah.
Events chased me out of comics before the Screw 52 had a chance to do it. I mean, because I was buying a pretty good bit of comics around that point, around the late 2000 aughts or whatever, and just all of a sudden, brightest day, blackest night, brightest day, R.I.P., Final Crisis, every day was unending. With DC, I kind of just tapped out of Marvel; they were kind of doing it as well, and it was I was still buying some books, but I was dropping a lot of them because I said, man, I just want some short story. I'd like a issue story once in a while. I would like.
I mean, how many times
There were a
can you
couple of good
see the
books,
universe
and
is close to death and nothing changes? You get
Everybody,
bored of that.
yeah.
Go ahead,
There were,
Clobby. Continue.
well, I was going to say there were a lot of books. I was kind of starting to drop them a little bit. Then the Screw 52 came along and said, well, you know what? This is good a place as any to stop buying any DC comics. I already pretty much got rid of Marvel. And that was that. But really, it was almost like a little less than a year before the Screw 52 that made me go, you know what, man, I'm tired of these events. I was buying a lot of comics for a while there. And man, stacks of them, and then after that, and then for years, I didn't even have a pull list, but I would still go in and buy. I would go to the shop. I had to go. There was a long time stretch in my life where not going to the comic shop once a month just was not an idea I could ever wrap my brain around. And once a week before, but then like just at least once in every couple of weeks. And I would buy stuff out just to have something to buy, but none of the Marvel or DC stuff, but other stuff here and there. And eventually, and there were some titles that I liked, but slowly over the course of time, man, it just dried up after 4, 5, 6 years, and then now for the past I'd say a good 7, 8 years, there was nothing regularly that I would collect. And, yeah,
It was this
Man.
era where everybody wanted to have their own Phoenix Saga, their own Death of Superman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to have this
Overkill.
big event that every single character was entangled with. And let's be honest, that works when it's something every couple of years or so that you get
10 to 15 years tops.
What's up, Grim? How
yeah.
you doing, man?
Grim.
I know Chloe doesn't like the original Secret Wars, but
Nope.
it was still an interesting concept.
It was made to sell toys, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it
but
totally was.
Yeah. Some of the
I
best
love-
things ever were made to sell toys.
well,
Yeah,
Conan,
They still hold
Yeah,
up
but
good.
Crisis on Infinite Earths was made for a worse reason. It
Yeah.
was made to streamline, to streamline continuity. What all it did is screw it up. But look, it's a business; they've got to make money, right?
Mhm.
But the story is take those two stories, for example, those two big crossovers,
Uh-huh.
those two big events. When your motivation was, in other words, not on neither case did someone sit down and say, "Hey, I've got this great idea for this big." I mean, yes, we'll make money because it'll be crossed over, but it'll be a great idea for this big, gigantic event we can do. And it comes from a creative standpoint. They wanted to make an interesting story. Sure, all the other stuff comes in trappings with it, like making toys or selling, crossovers. No, the story was wrapped around what was used to fill in the purpose instead of the other way around. In other words, the purpose was, hey, we need to do something, write a story for it. And that's something that I have a serious problem with, especially since DC continuity did not need fit. Now it's a mess. At that time, it was not a mess. It was very understandable. You had a couple multiple Earths, sure. The only thing that was kind of strange was Earth 1 really should have been Earth 2 and the other way around because, the Golden Age Earth was called Earth 2 and the Silver Age Earth was Earth 1. So a little backwards. But hey.
Yeah, this is the thing that I really hate about modern comics. Everything, they're trying too hard to make everything connected. There's no wrong with having at least two universes where they follow their own problem, but are still in a way connected to each other.
Yeah.
For example, back in the old days, Captain Marvel was in his own world. Most DC characters took care of their own thing.
Yeah.
Well, even Marvel had a lot of interconnection. If you read Spider-Man, from the beginning, Spider-Man was interconnected with
I know.
Four.
I saw.
Fantastic Four got a lot of other connections. So you will have that, and it was a vibrant ecosystem of characters mingling, but they were not really that deeply connected. Their adventures,
the connections were they were simplistic. Sometimes you went on adventures together, and some other times it's just two guys walking out the same street. They know each other, say hi to one another, and just go to their lives.
You will have mentions like Spider-Man swinging near the Baxter building, or just stealing a piece of cake from the Baxter building because he's an asshole. You will have Nova mentioning something about the Fantastic Four. You will have even billions connecting. So Doctor Doom will appear in Spider-Man, but that didn't mean that you will have also the Fantastic Four in Spider-Man. It was just Doctor Doom, or it was just
that's the thing.
Namor.
That's casual.
Yeah,
these people don't know what casual means.
Yeah, exactly my point. It was just is the same world, nothing else. If Namor appears here, Namor was from actually Captain America, if you think about it.
You're right. I see what you're getting at.
But he became an antagonist for the Fantastic Four because, he was just there. The world
and because he wanted the banks too. But let's be honest, none of us can blame
exactly
him.
That. I will agree with his line of thought. Let's just say that. But in general, it was just this big world or big universe, even where all these characters were around. That didn't mean that they were having this event where everything was centered around, let's say, for example, uh, Spider-Man has every character going around him. It was not like that. Some characters will appear here and there. Maybe a mention of Doctor Strange, or Doctor Strange will appear in a couple of pages, and that's it. But it wasn't a Spider-Man story. So you will enjoy Spider-Man for Spider-Man, and also you will get a bit of a teaser. So you will go to the store and buy the other comic, or you will get a reference that it was in this crossover that this happened in just a line in the book in a yellow box, and that was it. So you will get the interest because it's marketing. It was good marketing, but it wasn't dependent on this character, and everything else didn't matter. Once you got these huge events, nothing else matter. If Civil War is going on, who care what's happening with any other character, because Civil War is the biggest thing. So everything needs to go around Civil War. And if you
Oh
have
yeah.
read all the Civil War comics, a lot of them were shit. I'll be honest. Um, the
Oh,
Punisher
definitely.
Wall Journal was absolute garbage a lot of the time. I don't remember how the journalist comic was called.
Ben Urich.
Yeah, but it was no. There was a comic that was about the press on Civil War. I don't remember the name, but it was just what the press is seeing, what the press is talking about, how they are conducting all the research.
Sounds like a cash grab
It was a crash.
that probably
I think
failed.
I read that one.
Yeah, it was
Same.
terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
It was
So
stupid.
it took a lot of the energy from that. Everything needed to be around Civil War. And what happened if you just want to say have a cool Thor story? Well, Thor was not there. Instead, you had Ragnarok, and they never really came back into Thor full force. So who the hell cares whatever happens in Asgard, because it seems to be meaningless for an event that is going on Earth that should not be a matter
I mean,
for it. It was stupid. It consumed too much
Was
resources.
it Civil War Frontline?
Yeah, it was
yeah, something
it
like
was just journalists going around and talking about what's going on, and I didn't really care. And I was trying to get every single bit of Civil War because it was this huge event, and that made me realize that a lot of it was just fluff. I wanted to see what happened with Spider-Man because Spider-Man just revealed his
Yeah,
identity,
the
and I
identity.
had to read War Journal to know that Spider-Man got beat up in a fight with Iron Man. So is the Punisher the one that rescues him? They could have gotten that information on an Amazing Spider-Man issue, and that's it.
But
yeah.
Pablo, you
Oh, that's
had
good.
to read the issue where Iron Man sits down to convince Sprite of the Eternals to go and register for the registration.
Or I forget the name. Well, a Spider Woman of that time. That wasn't she pregnant already?
I think she was the Skrull Queen at the time.
Yeah, it was something stupid. I remember it was something really stupid. Also, you had a lot of other characters just trying to convince for one side or the other. So you have even the new mutants in there. Dude, the mutants, they already were fighting against something like the government
Mutant
with the.
Registration Act.
Yeah, exactly. So it was basically who cares? Let them be in their own shit. And mutants are actually not superpower vigilantes. They are just regular guys with powers, unless stated
Or
differently
some
by.
deformity of sorts.
Yeah.
Like
I
having. It has
had
to
a
suck living in a world where your only power is that you look green when there's guys out there who can summon storms.
Yeah, pretty much.
it was a little hard to kind of sell it though with like the mutants and that, because for anyone who had been following the mutants, like they had to deal with stuff like the Mutant Registration Act for decades, only to now do this bigger Civil War event and have to act like, oh, all of the heroes now suddenly care, when like Captain America was telling the mutants they had to register.
And it was everything because of Nitro. The only thing good that came with all that Nitro nonsense was that fight with Wolverine, where Wolverine ends up as a metallic skeleton. That was actually really cool. I will admit that. It's nonsensical because there shouldn't be any cell to regenerate after being born to that point, but it was actually really cool.
Wait, talking about the X-Men. Paul, we never had our talk about the God Love Man Kills, right?
That was last week.
Yeah,
God
missed
damn it. God
it was
damn
great.
it. Ah, freaking missed it. I was busy with crap.
It's okay. We forgive you. Anyways,
I mean, I had such a great argument planning out. I was basically going to gang up on him with
Fenrir,
some
Fenrir,
political.
just let me ask you something. Did you get late?
I mean, yes, but
Then who cares?
all right. Before we transition, I want to know what's up, Angry Gamer, RJ Godzilla 81. It's okay, Tom. When Tom has the bangers on, I get it. It's all good. Just glad that you guys are here. Thank you for dropping in, by the way. Yeah. It's been almost 90 minutes in this show, and today is National Pizza Day. So
really?
this one goes
Nobody
out
told me that.
Dude, I didn't find out until
I
a
want
few hours
pizza.
ago. I was like, look,
I haven't had a
that's
pizza.
where I was eating that cheesy bread right now. So
Oh,
this
damn
one
it.
is to National Pizza Day and to the king himself, because it was his passing date a few days ago.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Mr. Jack Kirby. So this one's to Kirby.
Hail to the king, baby.
Salute for the
To
king.
the king.
to the king.
Thanks,
Okay.
Jack.
Should have had some Jack for this one.
Yeah, right. I actually
I
do
should have.
have a knockoff of Jack right now. That's that timing is perfect.
Gin.
Bobby,
Yes, sir.
I want to, since I feel like you are definitely most appropriate to answer this. What was your first memory of the king? Like, what was the thing that you're like, who is this? This art looks great. What was the thing that what was your first Jack moment like?
Oh my God, I don't know if I can remember that. I mean,
Sure, I don't know, man. I feel like a guy like you would know
my
that all
memory?
too well.
I can remember everything about talking to him and his wife the two times, but first saw, I'm not so sure.
Okay.
I think it was, this is ballparking now, but in the by the time I had started, when I was old enough to, go pick out comics, to buy comics on the, at the corner 7-Eleven, what have you, the grocery,
Yeah.
drugstore, and I was able to pick my own comics, and but I was an FF fan. Kirby, of course, had been long gone from Marvel, but I was an FF fan, and he wasn't doing the regular FF series, but there was a reprint series called Marvel's Greatest Comics.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I picked up a couple of issues of that and started seeing his art. Also, I picked up a couple of those big Treasury editions that had Fantastic Four reprints in them.
Mm-hmm.
And amongst other things, it was a big, So, I can't nail down a specific issue, but it was a Fantastic Four issue for sure. And I think it was, oh boy, I think it was reprinting somewhere near the Inhuman saga, which was not too long before the coming of Galactus, is where there was a reprint of, mind you. It was, if it wasn't that, then the nearest I could take it could be the Fireside. There was a trade paperback book called Origins of Marvel Comics from the early 70s. I'm not exactly sure that might be what now that I'm thinking about it, that could be my first one. And that, of course, had reprints of the beginnings of each of the Marvel big characters. It had a reprint of Fantastic Four #1 in it. Then it reprinted Fantastic Four #55. It gave 2 examples, and so forth. So it had Spider-Man reprint, had all the big guys, all the big, Avengers, all those. So if it was that, wow, Fantastic Four 76, Kirby greatness. If it was that, and I'm not sure if it was that, then that means the first 2 Kirby pieces I saw were Fantastic Four #1 and #55.
Ooh.
But it's very difficult. But I think that's it. Now that I've given it more thought, but I've never thought of that question before, to be honest with you, because it's just sort of big runs together. So, what were you saying, Ironcaster? I'm sorry.
Well, I figured it'd be worth asking since we're kind of talking about them. Like, what is either the one comic or the one panel of all of Kirby's work that stands out most in your mind? Like, if there was just one piece you would point to people, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
That's easy. Good. That's finally one that I don't have to worry about my idiotic memory on. The comic, of course, and the panel are from the same comic. Fantastic Four #51. This monster is easily my favorite all-time Kirby comic book. And the splash page, which has that, which, by the way, even though I had to sell my FF collection for tragic reasons that I won't go into here, back in the 90s when I did, many years before that, I had Jack sign my copy of Fantastic Four #51 on the opening splash page, so I still have that, of course. And it's that splash page where he's standing there in the rain with the big title over his head. This monster.
Love that image.
It's a beautiful
that image.
The great Mark D with the C a couple of years back, the sneaky bastard, went and they had this very high end poster company that made different types of posters, various really nice productions. Got me a gigantic one. I mean, I'm talking, I don't know how big the sucker was. It was like 2 feet high. I mean,
Sounds huge.
3 feet wide and about 5 feet high. It's gigantic. He got me that page as a poster, and he sent it with a frame for me, and I have it framed, of course. So that splash page, the Fantastic Four #51. There's the cover. And of course, I can find the splash page if you want, or you could just, it's easy. There it is. That's easily my all-time favorite Jack Kirby page, but I'm biased because you know how much I love Ben read the Thing, and that's and of course the story is magnificent, which is, I don't know if you've ever read it, but strangely enough, without being spoilery, it's not actually a Thing story, but
it's a fantastic issue, though.
Yeah, it is. And it's
no pun intended. I swear that was not. I swear that was not meant to be a pun. I swear.
It's the issue after the coming of Galactus saga. The 3,
yes,
they're getting, and it's a wonderful comic. And Alex Ross did a sequel to it a couple of years ago. It was called Fantastic Four Full Circle, where he painted the art, which is a beautiful book. I don't know if any of you saw it.
And
it was
that
really,
I have not seen.
It is a really good comic. It's like a game. He did his. It's funny. It's not a Marvel comic, even though Marvel owns the Fantastic Four trade. They farmed it out to a book company that Alex Ross wrote and drew it, and did it different from any of his art you've ever seen. It's a gorgeous book, beautiful in its interior, and it's actually sort of a sequel to this story. But I wish we can get some more of those out of Alex Ross. So yeah, this would be This is Jack's my favorite. But then there's so many though, Caster, that I never know where to begin, except I can definitively say this comic and that page are probably my favorite, which is ridiculous because there's so many incredible pages. I don't know why this one is the one. It just is.
I think you look at the image, it's something about when you look at, you instantly remember it and it sticks with you. It's iconic imagery, really.
Yeah. It is.
I think it's really, there's nothing really all that thought out. It's just, I think it's more of a simple reason. I mean, that's my gesture out of the club. It's just, you look at it and it sticks out right away. It's just one of those images. It's one of those things you see it for the first time, and you remember it from now until forever. And it had that effect on you. I know it had that effect on me when I first saw that image.
Yeah,
it stuck out. It stuck out.
It does. It just like all of his work. It jumps off a page. It pops off of the page, and his work never sits still.
What's up, Mars Monkey Max? How you doing, buddy? RJ Godzilla, a great comment here. Said I first became aware of the King at the Superman the Animated Series 2-parter Apocalypse Now after Jack Turpin died, and it was that.
Yeah,
I'm glad RJ Godzilla mentioned that because that was literally my gateway into who Jack. That was actually my gateway because even though I had seen some images, I didn't really know the name well. But I remember looking into that episode and finding out that the character who died, that because something seemed, I guess you could say, like, this is something about this guy who stands out, that Darkseid killed her. Like I remember something about it, like, stood out to me. It's like, man, it's so weird that guy like just showed up. Like there's got to be something to that, and surely enough, there was.
Terrible Turpin. Dan Turpin's a character he created back in the 40s. They kept bringing back. I mean, it was kind of, and they put him on that cartoon and made him look like Jack because he really didn't look that much like Jack before, sort of, So I thought that was it was kind of fun that they did that. Bruce Timm and Paul Dini did that. I love this art right here by Gil Kane.
Oh, it's a fantastic piece. It's a gorgeous piece right here.
Sweet. Yeah. Very crazy.
Yeah.
I love how heroic it looks. I love how absolutely heroic.
I love Gil Kane. He's one of my favorites.
He's a fantastic artist. Seriously.
Yeah.
Look at
I just love art like this. It just depicts pure insanity.
Yep. Gil and he was a nice man too.
Oh, you met Gil Kane? Nice.
Couple times.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And I remember him saying emphatically that Jack Kirby was the greatest comic book artist of all time.
Woo!
And some consider Gil right up there with him. So,
wow.
But Gil Kane was one of my favorite stuff too. I mean, I love him.
What always stands out for me for Jack Kirby stuff, and all the things, like the early stuff I remember seeing, is like Thundar the Barbarian.
Yes, he worked on that for Ruby Spears.
Yep.
They brought him in to work on some character concepts for them from a lot of projects for Ruby Spears. Steve Gerber came out with some basic stuff for that with the other writers for that show, and Kirby designed a lot of stuff for it. It came up with mostly a lot of the ideas they took directly from Kirby's Commandy comic, which had been out many years before that. So Thundar is so ripped from Commandy. That it's something, and I love Thundar, by the way. There's a Kirby drawing of it right there. He did like, I mean, I want to say hundreds, like tons and tons of character concepts for maybe 20 or 30 cartoons for Ruby Spears. That's the only one that got close to being made was this one. But he did so many. They came out later, right around before he passed away, I believe, with a card set of, they colored them. There you go, Captain Lightning. All of them still did a ton of them. You found them.
Look at that.
The Ruby Spears cards. I have this card set. And it's all these different crazy, really out there, nutty ideas that he came up for cartoons. If only just 2 or 3 of them had gotten made, it would be so cool. Like that Power Planet, that's one I would like to have seen.
Chloe, did Kirby had anything to do with the Herculoids?
No, he was working. That was for Hanna-Barbera.
It
was certainly inspired by him.
Yeah. The style is.
I mean, they're very FF, aren't they? I'd say that you could probably safely say they were inspired by him. Sorry about last night. Was typing in your chat and just passed out in the middle of the show. That's okay, MMM. Never apologize, MMM. Just we're all glad to hear you. Nick's glad to have you here, and I was just glad to have you here.
We're all happy you're here, man. Hey, it happens, dude.
I will say this:
knowing the last thing before you pass out,
exactly.
What you see, that's a badge of honor, as far as I'm
exactly. If somebody is paying attention and just passes out, it's like, God damn.
That's true. But I'm sorry.
Look,
That's what D-Bud said is true, actually. Alex Toth did design, he was working for Hanna-Barbera. He designed a lot of stuff, like Space Ghost and a lot of other things. And so Alex Toth, I think you're right, D-Bud. I think he did design the Herculoids. Now that I think about it, I remember seeing some sketches of his. And there's, of course, Dark Side, another Kirby creation that has been ripped off like so many times.
Yeah.
There's belief out there that George Lucas read the Fourth World stuff because, I mean, Kirby, way before there was a Star Wars, he had the Source. You had a father and son dynamic, good guy, bad
I thought it was already common knowledge that he ripped off Jack Kirby.
Well, I mean, it's belief. Put it this way. By the way, there's a picture somewhere, I do believe, of George Lucas meeting Jack Kirby. There's other pictures too, like Kirby meeting Frank Zappa and Paul McCartney and some other ones. That's crazy.
Well, Lucas
And Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Lucas was into a lot of that stuff, and he ripped off a lot of things for Star Wars.
He wanted to do Flash Gordon initially.
Yeah, exactly. He wanted to do Flash Gordon from college.
Yeah.
So he was really into Flash Gordon. He was pitching the idea. Actually, he tried to get the rights, and somebody else beat before him and got the rights. So he was really salty on that. He took a lot from Dune. He took a lot from Flash Gordon. He took a lot from a lot of pulp, and he made
the opening crawl of Star Wars.
Exactly.
That's from Flash Gordon.
So basically, it was just Lucas going like, "This is all the stuff that I like. I will make a movie with it since I cannot do Flash Gordon."
I have this card. Kirby Star Wars. He just sketched it, and somewhere they colored that. That was in one of those Kirby card collections I got. I forget which one of the tops Kirby. May have become one of the tops comics for a while toward the early 90s, I think it was. We did some Kirby comics where he did designs for some of them and stuff like that. Yeah.
He chose a great Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like his Darth Vader.
He was very, very, very old when he did that. I mean, his arm was was in absolutely terrible shape at that point.
Maybe. Okay. Even so, still, I look at it and just it really stands out, his Darth Vader. I love it. I love the towering nature of this imagery he portrays with Vader. I really makes me feel like his larger than life presence looms over everything. I love that.
Oh, I love it, man. I've probably told this before, but the second time I got to meet him in Atlanta in 1990, the only reason he was there is because Roz went to the store and he answered the phone. He can't say no to anybody. And he agreed to go to that thing. So they went and because his hand wasn't really, his arm was really bad shape. He wasn't really doing much. So the whole weekend we kept going over to the table. They were at a table in the dealer's room at a friend, Mike Thibodeau's tailor, an artist friend of theirs, and they were. You go up to him and just sit there and they talk to you. Him and Jack would talk to you. Ross would talk to you. And a little bit later, I've gone to talk to her several times. And I went to one of the quarter boxes and found a bunch of Kirby, Jimmy Olsen's and stuff like that. And I walked over and she said, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "Oh, look what I bought." I just showed her. I'm just showing her. I've got some Jack comics. It was all. She tried to take them out of my hand. She said, "Oh, well, he's not signing anything here, but I'll take him up to the room and get him to sign them for you." And I wanted to burst out crying. I was so touched. I said, "Oh, no. I know you were talking about how his arms hurting. No. I've got him. He signed some stuff for me when I met you guys in '86. I just wanted to show you that. I was just showing you that. And I didn't let her do it. But just the fact that she offered, I mean, it's just incredible. They were wonderful people.
Wow.
This is another Jack Kirby.
Crazy Kirby collage. Just more the Kirby collage evolved over time.
Nuts.
You should see some of the other. There's primitive. I like it. His earlier ones are almost more primitive but fun. But yeah, this stuff. Look at this Lords of Light stuff.
Wow.
If there was any justice in the world, science fiction land would have really happened, and we would have had a theme park, developed by Jack Kirby or designed by Jack Kirby.
Kirby did things sober that people really, really high will never even dream of.
That's the thing. I've never taken drugs in my life, except for medical moments. But I'm pretty sure This is how most people feel when they're high.
Dude,
Yeah.
I have taken drugs, and I will tell you, there's nothing that you can see in anything that will get near what Kirby was doing. There's no fractals that you can see on DMT in the world that will even compare to a good Kirby drawing. It's impossible. The guy was on a whole nother level. The guy was absolutely in another
He
reality.
was indeed the king.
A lot of
I
people
yeah.
don't like the unrealistic looks, like his people are blocky and square
Oh,
and all
that
that.
drives me
Oh,
crazy.
I hate
I
that
love
shit.
that.
Realistic.
I love
So freaking
the more
annoying,
outrageous
Bash.
they look, the more silly they look, the outrageous, the better, man. Because it's a comic book. Don't get me wrong. I love Adams. He's very realistic.
Yeah.
Some of those I love those guys too. But
Comics are supposed to be a world of wonders where the impossible happens on the basic.
I'm saying there's room for all different types of styles. And his with Kirby's, they're always powerful and they're blasting off the page, and they're supposed to be over the top. They're supposed to be out there. Like I said, you know. And the thing is, he was so big at the time in the '60s when every time Martin Goodman and Stan Lee would get a new artist in there because of the way things were going, they weren't told to be themselves. They were saying, "Be Jack." Now
Well,
they
he
were.
kind of set the blueprint. I mean,
We want do it like him. We want
yeah.
you to do it like him. Ditko was allowed to go free a little bit, and but everybody else pretty much was not. They said no, just do it like that.
Anything that is related to the cosmic area, you need to go full Kirby. If you don't, it's impossible to make something that actually tells you what's going on. How do I describe this? Is that sensation of actually feeling infinity on the page that makes you mesmerized, that makes you lose yourself into everything. That is really difficult to get. And most people don't really understand how difficult it is to make something look infinite on paper, because it is two-dimensional. It is absolutely plain. So you need to play with the shapes and the colors, and you need to distort everything in a way that even in that flat drawing, you start to lose yourself. You start to drift into the cosmos, into the infinite, and that's what Kirby did.
There's a great video. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How many other creators can have a magazine be dedicated to them and them alone and have it go for 100 issues?
They're up to issues 80, 70. I have every issue, by the way, the Jack Kirby Collector. I started collecting it in the mid 90s, and they're up to 78 or 79 because it's quarterly, it's true. But you're right. I don't know if any. Not only that, there's a regular feature in that mag. I get it. I never miss it. Of course, there's a regular feature in there called Kirby as a genre, and it has different every time they do that. They talk about different forms of things that sprung off from his creations. It's like it's just he is a genre unto himself. Because remember, he revolutionized the art form no less than 3 whole times in this brilliant 40+ year career. In terms of what they mean by that is he set a template, then everybody else followed it. He didn't even mean to do it. He just started doing a certain thing. Everyone saw him doing it. In the 40s, it was with the bigger, more dynamic superheroes and crime fighters. In the 50s, when the comics were in a lot of trouble, it was detective comics. It was like police comics. It was westerns, science fiction comics, romance comics, different things that put the market back out there, because a lot of comics had been stagnant. Congress had gone after comics. They had a lot of problems. He did those genres and he introduced those and breathed life into those. And then in the 60s, well, we know what he did with Marvel. And so that's like 3 different times he redefined the form and revolutionized it. And everyone followed his lead. That's insane.
Yeah, and his contributions, even in software, are really important, because the concept of layering, as we know it, Kirby was a pioneer on that. The way that he drew was literally layering, but instead of doing a lot of different drawings and superposing each one of them, he was doing it in a single piece of paper. So he will start
Yep.
with the frontal layer and then going into the background slowly and deforming the body of the character in a way that you could feel the perspective, you could feel the depth and the movement and everything. And we are doing that now on Adobe software. It's exactly the same thing that he was doing, but we need a whole machine and we need a lot of crazy mathematical calculations to get where he was doing with a pencil. It's,
Yep.
Joe's Atmosphere. What's up, man? Our man here hit 400 today.
Hey, all right,
Congratulations,
dude.
sir. So I like to see.
Congrats.
Yeah.
You know,
Wait till you hit 500, man. It's gonna be huge.
absolutely.
Go ahead, Clobby.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Good to see you, Joe. So, yeah, he inspired so many people, but he did a lot of other things too. He, helped start. He was one of the key movers and shakers behind Comic-Con in the 1970 or whatever. He helped start the San Diego Comic-Con. You know what that turned into. He did a lot of things for a lot of creators as well, and this always astounds people when I tell them, "Did you know Jack Kirby didn't read comics?
yep.
He didn't read any other comics. He drew them, the hell out of them, but he never read, and he wouldn't read other people's comics. Is it because he didn't like comics? Of course not, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people have to remember when he started, there were no comics to start with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were no, like start as a kid, then you go into the field. There was no field.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't like if you're a kid in the 40s, 50s, or 60s, even you could read comics and go in and draw comics, but there was nothing. So he read other things back then. He read pulps and other forms of fiction and other forms of literature and things like that. So, and then when he was asked, he just said, "Not really. He's too busy drawing them, and he doesn't want to." He doesn't want to influence himself, and he also, he was such a nice guy. He never wanted to be put in a position for someone to go, "What do you think of my comic?" He'd say, "I don't look at anyone else's comics. No offense. I wish you the best." And he supported other creators big time. But
I think that actually makes a lot of sense. If I'm going to be very honest with this, I feel like that makes a lot of sense. I mean, think about it. He was cranking out 4 pages a day.
Mhm.
A day.
Exactly.
So I would expect a guy like him is too busy getting that stuff done. I don't hold that against him either. I mean, if that's your reasoning, there's no issue there. You're doing your job. So okay. It happens.
His
That's
output,
fine. That's perfectly natural.
his output was 3 to 4 times higher than the next best man on the industry. He was a machine. He was impossible to follow. It was absolutely crazy. And on top of that, if you went by his house, that fans did, a lot of fans did, he will just draw something for you, even if he was working.
He used to take his wife used to take kids. Kids would hitchhike across the country, including Lynn Wein and Marv Wolfman and some other ones, and go to his house, and they would they would be brought in, fed them, they'd feed them, they'd let them go down and look at Jack's his studio and all that other kind of stuff. But anyway, to give you a basic idea, there were 1,563 story credits found. That's because he got screwed out of a lot of story credits stuff. But total pages of stories that he produced, 19,529. 19. Let's see. He's at the I believe only I think only Kurt Swan and I think only Stan Goldberg have more. I think, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's quite something.
But if you consider that he was working on Marvel,
And he created his. So
yeah, on that era, and I mean, it was before Marvel was called Marvel.
it
It
was
was
Atlas. They were Atlas. They were
yeah,
Timely. Then later they were
and
Atlas.
yeah.
Mhm.
So a lot of his credits may be lost in time because there's a lot of his work that was not on his name.
Well, they didn't
Or
even credit
yeah,
credit boxes. They weren't even credit boxes or any kind of credit at all until that started. Marvel actually started doing that.
it
It,
was
when
actually
he
him
came along,
leaving.
huh?
It was actually him leaving Marvel that made Marvel
Oh yeah, but I mean,
reconsider how they will
after a
have.
while they started putting some credits in those comics, but that's where it all started. I mean,
Mhm.
usually comics didn't put DC wasn't doing it at that point. You didn't know who wrote or drew what anything. And
Yeah,
then they started
so
doing it around then, you know.
it's
So
actually impossible to know how many works actually are under his name because, well, the industry was not even there at that point. He
yep.
basically built what is the industry now. A lot of the things that we we take as a given are because, well, he had to fight. He had to actually quit Marvel and go to DC, and quit DC and go to Marvel, and quit both of them and make his own stuff for a while, for companies to actually care about actually paying fairly, letting people have the rights to their works, letting people keep the originals, the manuscripts for a lot of their work, because that will go for the company and be lost. And that's something that even here in Ecuador changed. My grandfather, a lot of his originals are lost to time because, well, it was for the company and not for him. Then after the industry started to change and it was around the world, he got to keep a lot of his originals, but that was 70s, 80s. So it took a long while for people to actually care about. Hey, we lost Fenrir.
Oh,
He'll be back.
The
Okay.
dog
He'll be
catcher must
back.
be
We're
coming.
we're we're gonna acknowledge a few things here. So we got a get the membership from Osmora 199, Angus 5, huge memberships. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying your Friday night. It's awesome to see when you do all these crazy memberships. So thank you.
And I
then we
see
got
your boomstick.
nah. And of course, I mean, I know we acknowledged it last week, but we're acknowledge again that Avatar, Army of Darkness, badass. Just straight up badass. All right. Anyway,
Absolutely great
we
movie.
also got Vulcan
Yes.
Lives right over here. He comes in with a direct donation. Whee! And Vulcan Lives for a direct donation of 10. Says, does anyone else think that Nick looks like a young Nicolas Cage with long hair now? I'm not that crazy like Nicolas Cage. I'm not like that, guys.
Nick,
I'm
Nick,
cutting
you
it.
don't quite get
Go
it. Nick, I'm here to steal your show.
I took what happened was I took my stash. You took
Not the stash! Not the stash!
I took his stash. Oh, good old face off reference.
Dude, the worst part is that on my list for this month is one of the Nicolas Cage best performance ever.
Con Air.
Vampire Kiss.
Really?
I'm a vampire.
You don't know the context for
Oh,
that,
I
right?
know Vampire Kiss. I do.
He was experimenting with his
Almost bought
acting.
me Con Air.
So yeah, actually, Conner is amazing, but
Con
he was
Air is so
experimenting with his acting. So the whole concept for his character on that movie is he wanted to see how much he could open his eyes on every single shot, and that's why he looks like he's on some crazy shit. That's
Have you
his
guys ever
character. He
like
was
sat
just
down and have you guys ever sat down and like listened to him like explain the art and a lot of the philosophy for behind his performance style? He calls it like nouveau shamanic.
Of course he does.
Like
Of course he
What?
does.
You got what now?
Don't
Was it-
worry about it. It's basically I will do
Uh,
the craziest shit that I can imagine for that role, and I will never do it again.
Until the next role.
No,
Until
that's
the
the
next
thing. He never repeats the same thing. So if in one movie is about opening his eyes to an inhuman uh, way, his next one will be just making the best smirk possible in every single shot and shit like that. So every single one of his performances is just taking any facial feature or anything alike, even the position of his hand or anything, and make it the most over the top possible. And then he will never do it again.
Works for
He is
me.
a whole new level of crazy, man. Uh, is there's two people that I know that can transform in that way. Actually, three, but one of them I will say is more. He repeats a lot. One will be Nicolas Cage. The other will be Tim Curry, and the other actually is Jim Carrey. But Jim Carrey he repeats a lot of his performances, so that takes away of the power. Tim Curry, every single movie that he appears on is absolutely mesmerizing. Even
hey,
Home Alone, man. In Home Alone 2 is I don't know how he managed to steal every
I
single
love you.
he's, he's fantastic, man.
Oh god, that is great. Just like we have this sort of Mount Rushmore of like these kind of over the top performers for film. Because
Mhm.
RJ Godzilla in the chat. Christopher Walken is on that list too.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know he's got that peculiar way he talks.
Man.
Uh, it's great, especially when you keep a watch shoved up your ass. That's why I talk like this.
Then there you have other character actors and just actors in general that they don't really like to change anything. So there you have Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is just Keanu Reeves. In what he can be the most badass character like John Wick or Neo, he's still just Keanu Reeves acting as Keanu Reeves. There's nothing different. I think the most Keanu Reeves that you will ever see is him just being imaginary high, but it's, it's not really that he's high. He just acts high. So, but the rest of the time he's just this single emotion face all the time, and it works for Neo. It works for John Wick. It works on.
Oh, right.
It works in everything. movie that he's on.
All right,
Sean
I
Connery.
just gotta say one thing.
say your thing.
Pablo, I never cared for Neo as a character, but you're gonna know Keanu Reeves' true power. It's the beard.
But
Yeah.
he didn't
Without it,
have
he's
that
nothing.
in the first Matrix movie. He had everything in the first Matrix.
Whoa.
Oh,
it's just-
Bill and
The Matrix
Ted.
never hit me that great.
Yeah. Bill and Ted is one of those situations where
Oh.
he acts like he's high, and he's
Dude,
acting like
Speed.
high. Speed is
Encino Man.
I love him in Speed.
Yeah,
Speed
Speed's
is
great.
amazing.
Oh, Speed is such a good. It's basically Die
Which-
Hard, but in
Yeah.
a bus.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
What's a worse? Okay, real quick. What's a worse sequel? Speed 2 or Highlander 2?
Highlander 2
Highlander
doesn't
2.
exist. Well, I guess we'll say Speed
Highlander
2
2's
because
worse.
It's probably worse, but it doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist either.
Yeah,
but-
it doesn't
I
exist.
mean, C2 is bad now.
Speed
Yeah.
2 is in
Yeah.
a boat.
It's pretty lousy because it's called. First of all, it's called Speed, and yet there's no speed in the movie because the movie's slow. As
I mean, wouldn't it
molasses.
make more sense if the sequel wasn't a train or something to move at high speeds?
Well, yeah, exactly. It moves at like
It makes
18 knots.
Too much sense.
We used to call it Speed 2, molasses. I mean, this movie is. I mean, I was dumb enough to go to the theater to see that crap because I like the first one so much. I'm like, why am I here? I can't believe I deserve everything I get.
I don't know. Like I sat down. I had to watch Highlander 2 for a stream a while back, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, but did
Yes.
you watch the theatrical cut? That's the
Yeah.
important part. You guys almost non-existent now. The theatrical theater that I saw in the theater was, I mean, I don't know how I survived it, and I walked out angry, but that was on cable for years, and then later it just kind of disappeared. And they have the director, he whined about it. He didn't like that cut either. And he came up with this other thing that's again, people who've seen it, and I haven't seen it, think it's way better, but still say it's not very good. But they think it's way better than and that's still I'm asking you, have you seen the theatrical cut, Ironcaster?
No, I think I saw the
Which is tough
Renegade
to
cut.
find, by the way. You saw the director? Yeah.
Like, I'll sit down and I'll watch it, just because like I want to see more of like Planet Zeist.
No. Maybe you did see the front stuff. You may have seen it.
All right, so Brian McCann just became a specific member, and I do thank him for that. Thank you for becoming a balls to the wall member, Brian McCann. And because of that, you got to hear the Accept Classic. And what's up, Phantom Outsider and my guy, Student of God, with
Santee.
that great avatar of the shadow. Great to see you, gentlemen, here. So, anyways, I want to talk about really quickly. Last week, obviously, we had our biggest show ever with the X-Men God Loves, Man Kills. And I've always said, when people respond to something, you want to lean into it a little bit. It doesn't mean you have to do it all the time, which that could be overkill. But you do want to lean into it a little bit. And I would like to know, since we still have 20 plus people here over 2 hours into the show, what are some other X-Men stories you guys want to see us talk about? I want to know what are some ones that would you say, okay, you got a really big X-Men expert, you got the super normie X-Men expert, people who are kind of aware of the X-Men perspective. So you got all these different variations going on. Talk about these kinds. What are some storylines that we should talk about? I want to see. No, obviously, I'm not going to say we are going to be able to cover everyone because we're not going to be able to. But if there's enough comments, maybe even we'll run a poll. If there's enough of them, we'll consider, an idea of like, okay, we should do that. I want to see what is going to really get a lot of people talking.
The true origins Wolverine.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the ideas I was thinking of was the Frank Miller or Wolverine origin story we got.
Okay.
which is where we get some of the iconic imagery of Wolverine and in the Weapons X program, where you get to see how he came about. I think that might be fun because, as iconic as Wolverine is, we've
Frank Miller.
really avoided talking about him at all on this show.
Frank Miller didn't do anything like that. Did he?
Wait.
Not Weapon X. He didn't do Weapon X.
No, I'm sorry. It was the
He did the first
There was a-
miniseries with Chris Claremont, though.
No, who was behind Origins? Wolverine?
it was in the anthology book.
Yeah, it was
They-
Marvel.
they-
It was Marvel Presents. That was Barry Wintersmith. Yeah,
Yeah, that
you
one.
said
Oh, there
Frank
you go.
Miller, so you said Miller, so it threw me off because Miller did do, of course, the first miniseries of them all with Chris Claremont writing it, and was it Mark D and North Dawson? I reviewed that one night. The first 4-issue Wolverine miniseries is pretty amazing stuff. Just saying.
Oh, X-Men, Magus, Warlock.
Oh god, yeah, it's great. Of course, for that you really got to get into the New Mutants. So
Yeah.
that's already the problem is that's a spin-off of the mainline X books, and as much as I'm down for talking about that, that's getting a little into the weeds for it, and I think we'd be better off getting into some of the more main stories because there's stories like the Fall of the Mutants that I think we absolutely need to cover within the next year.
Phoenix Saga, House of M.
I would say either maybe we go to the start of the relaunch, so with Giant Size X-Men 1 to kind of get into the introduction of the most iconic X-Men.
The
I think
beginning
that might
of
be-
Uncanny X-Men.
Or anybody mentioned Dark Phoenix Saga? Or is that too obvious?
Yeah, that one's the other obvious one.
A given.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Because you could do it. You could do it fairly. I mean, it would take maybe 2 shows, but it's not a lot. I mean, you could condense it. But yeah. Should you choose?
Yeah, no, I want to see where our chat is at with it, because to me that's like
Sure.
I want to
That's what they
know
want.
what
See
people
what they
are.
want.
Yeah, I want to know what are they feeling. I want to see what is really gaining the most. People saying, okay, hey,
Sure.
I want to see this, because I mean I don't really see us doing any major oddball deep cuts anytime soon. But it'd be nice to at least do another story or 2 this year. I think that's definitely a good serving.
Yeah, if we were going for deep cuts, Onslaught.
I don't know about that. The problem is to get to Onslaught, we really need to sort of go to we need to start with Giant Size X-Men 1. I think that's really the obvious place to start.
Yeah, that's why I say deep cut. Because
Great though as some of the later books are, or it is as fine as even like the initial issues are. I almost feel like we can kind of skip everything over until Giant Size X-Men 1 and I believe Uncanny 94. Because that's when the series picked back up, and then we got like Wolverine, Colossus, Nightcrawler, the characters we think of as the most iconic X-Men. That's really where the book wound up going for an amazing like 17-year run ultimately under like Claremont. He didn't start initially there, but come on, you're on a book for 17 years. It's kind of it becomes your book after a while.
I'm seeing Brian McCann is saying Age of Apocalypse, but okay, just tell me this. Did Archangel started on Age of Apocalypse, or it was before that?
So let's see. I believe, of course, I'm now thinking just more so to Apocalypse's first appearance, which is a whole X Factor thing. Again, spinoffs. At the end of the day, I believe probably the best place to start is, as I've said, Giant Size X-Men 1. Let's go to the origins of this team, and that's kind of where I'm putting my money at. Is I think that's the best place to start.
Oh, it was X Factor. Thank you very much. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Apocalypse didn't first appear till X Factor 9 or 10, I believe.
Okay.
Okay, so we should restrict ourselves to mainline X-Men then, because if we go to X Factor, there's a lot
I mean,
that
the problem I'm kind of seeing with some of the later picks, which don't get me wrong, Onslaught and some of the other adventures are great books, but it's like saying let's start Daredevil and go to Shadowlands.
Oh yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah, I get
and
you.
I actually understand that comparison. It's one
Right,
of
I
those
was trying
things
to come
that
up with a good one.
it's a take for very seasoned readers, and obviously I'm very far from qualifiable on the seasoned reader take. I'm trying
And
to
that
right
was
now. We had to go for a more casual approach.
yeah, I think it's important to kind of take that in consideration that Nick isn't as familiar with the X-Men.
Yes.
that's
And
why I was saying
like,
the
oh
beginning of
no.
Uncanny.
And well, the thing is, like, the start of Uncanny, like the I think 64 is when it started. Basically, the issue 1,
like that, yeah, 4, whatever.
it's fine stuff, especially when you have Jack Kirby there doing some. I believe he just did covers.
But no, X-Men, he created them.
Yeah.
He did the book
Did he?
early on for a while, yeah.
Okay, well, like I said, those issues are fine, but
Yeah, the series wasn't that great.
there's
I
a
mean,
reason why the book.
one of
There's
the
a
more
reason why the book was
successful
eventually
books at the
canceled.
time. No, it wasn't one of the. It lasted. It kind of limped along. He left it because he was doing so much stuff, and they had a lot of different artists. And around like 60 or something issues, and eventually it became reprint book for a while. And then this was monthly, bi-monthly, and then they started back up again with giant size X-Men #1, and then they just kept the numbering and with X-Men 94 on up for new stuff. So there were a lot of issues that were reprints after it went along for like 60 something issues, whatever it was, 60 something or ballpark.
Oh,
yeah.
well, Muhammad said
It was not one of their bigger books.
Here. Giant X-Men runs awesome. John Byrne, Dave Cockrum is awesome. I plan to read Tales to Son. Ah, man. Okay.
Yeah, you're reading the good stuff, buddy. Keep it up, man.
This guy's on
I
it,
love
man.
it. I love it.
You can't help but
Like-
feel good when you see stuff like that.
Well, the thing with like with the initial launch of Uncanny X-Men, I would be tempted just to skip around because like that's where we get the first appearance of Juggernaut. That's where we get the first appearance of the Blob, the Magneto. Like there is a lot of the iconic characters that are first introduced, but then there's a lot of really forgettable issues.
Yeah, I do love kind of the some of the ones a little later on toward the end with Neil Adams run, Steranko issues, stuff like that. They had some good ones, but yeah, for the most part, wasn't one of Marvel's better books at that point. It was good, but it wasn't one of the more popular ones either. The popularity really kind of went through the roof with the new quote unquote new X-Men.
They wanted another team like the Fantastic Four and kind of missed.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't catch lightning in a bottle twice.
Yeah, I mean,
The thing is that they did. Just they didn't knew how to really channel that lightning until they started with
they had
Giant
a
Size.
run. They had a run. It just wasn't like Avengers or FF, Yeah.
No, the concept was great. The issue is that people didn't really click with the roster. I will say when you started to get Wolverine, Storm, it started to take more of a real shape. Before that, yeah, it was kind of charismatic, but not so much. My favorite character of that era will be actually Angel. Because
In the original?
no, later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the thing is, like, once we get into that relaunch, we can then start getting into a lot of the that then opens the door for a lot of the side series. That's a chance to then go check out, at some point, possibly the New Mutants. Although I'd probably say maybe not, or even just like the Wolverine like spinoff book. The fact that they gave of all the X-Men, Nightcrawler got a miniseries. There's a Dazzler and Beast comic.
Did we ever
I had
did?
the covers to those. That's interesting that they had that. What's up, Michael T?
Did we
Also,
ever
just
did
Dazzler.
the first appearance of Wolverine?
What now?
First appearance of Wolverine.
And a Hulk
What about
comic?
it?
Yeah, on the
Hulk
Hulk.
181.
Hulk 180. Of course, some consider Hulk 180 just because he put it in the back panel, but it's really 181 to be fair. But he is on. Yeah, of course.
We'll get technical.
What about it?
Do that here. People understand the chat.
No, I don't do that, but I'm just saying that people like to be pedantic about it. What about it, Pablo?
Did we ever do that?
No.
No. Okay.
No, we haven't really touched the Hulk.
Huh.
Well, that issue's kind of, Wolverine's not exactly, very well defined at that point.
Yeah. He was a mercenary or something like that. The powers were not really fully fleshed. But it's interesting that he actually became really big on the X-Men, and later he was on every single basic title. Yeah.
When I was again, sorry, I should mention owning a comic shop because we get made fun of again. But when I was running one, not only one, but that came out in 1982, the first Wolverine miniseries. We loved it. We loved him in X-Men, but that was it. No one really thought he was going to get his own title. And the editorial staff at Marvel was saying, we want to give one of the X-Men a title. They were talking at San Diego Comic-Con to Chris Claremont. I forget, it was Jim Shooter and another one. He said, who do you want to give it to? And they mulled it around a little bit. And they said, what about Wolverine? He's been doing some interesting things. And again, he had that one breakout issue called Wolverine Alone, which was in the Hellfire Club, whatever. It's a classic now. Everyone remembers that one, right? So I said, well, that would be obviously the clear choice. And Frank Miller was there, and they got together with him and Joseph Rubinstein, who was the big part of the artwork on that book. And they all did it. They got together. And they just decided, let's do this thing. And, who knew that Wolverine, of all people, at that point, who people kind of liked in the X-Men for sure, was going to be that big. You just didn't know. So they made it a miniseries. And, man, we just went nuts over it. Even if you weren't that big of an X-Men fan, you're like, look at this thing. Because Miller was so huge on Daredevil. It was just like, oh, my God, this is Frank Miller. Wolverine is just a perfect, even though it's obviously Claremont doing the scripting and the plotting, but Miller was in on it. And so it went so nuts. We went and immediately, when that first issue came out, have you ever seen that cover? We took that cover and went and made silkscreen shirts for the comic shop with our name on, our logo on. And we made it our comic shop logo and everything. That first one with him holding up the, with him, that smile. Remember that cover of #1, the Wolverine miniseries?
Yeah.
We made that our shirt because we were like, man, we were just going crazy over that stuff. And they couldn't keep them, man. I had to double and keep reordering the sucker. And it was only 4 issues because you open that page, the first one, which got fighting the bear. Like, I'm Wolverine. I'm the best at what I do. What I do isn't very nice. That became like iconic in comic, and back then, and everyone was quoting it, running around saying that. What I do is not very nice. And it's just kind of blew up. After his popularity from there on, man, he became the biggie. There you go.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw that cover. I think I was about 7 or 8 when I first saw this cover.
Oh, there you go.
Of course, it's one of those images that it's, I never read it, still haven't, admittedly. It stood out. I recognize it, and
it's a great book.
I know it to this day. I'm like, yeah, I know that cover.
Nick, you got to read this one, man. You'd love it. You would love this. You love Village Daredevil?
Oh.
This is, this is, just like I said, a couple years back, Mark D and Lord Thoth and I went through it, reviewed the whole thing.
I'm sure Thoth had a trip on that.
It's a brilliant book. Oh, yeah. It's a brilliant, very cool book. Very well done. Miller at peak. And Joe Rubinstein, ink on Miller. Miller's work never looked
Rubinstein,
better.
Nice.
Joe Rubinstein's one of the best. So yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I love him. That's perfect. Okay. Hey, no, say no more there, man. This
is one we should review one of these days. I'm just saying.
Ooh, maybe Frank Miller Wolverine.
And I'm not even a Wolverine freak. I'm not even a Wolverine fanatic that much, but I love this book.
Okay.
maybe this would be the book to do next. just to
yeah.
get a little more
What are we
touch into it.
thinking? Let's once again. We still got 20 plus people in here. What do we think, guys? Frank Miller, Wolverine. I mean, I think I see a bit of a winning combination. Just saying, and it does gauge my interests, personally speaking. So
They all had great covers, but that one there, man, just Wilson still had that shirt.
It's a glorious cover.
He was a Southland Comics. We had the Superman S for our S and a big logo, and it was this shirt.
Wow. No.
And the book was only been out for like a few weeks when that happened. Second issue wasn't even out yet when we had the shirt.
Isn't it weird that nobody has even tried to argue about doing anything with Iceman or really focusing on Jean Grey before Phoenix?
Oh, okay. I think we're coming to a decision, guys.
I didn't mean to.
I've been trying to forget Iceman exists for a long time. Specifically after the
case for one other possible story.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, and all it's gonna take is just the cover.
Okay. Go ahead and do that. Well,
okay.
Yeah, that's Barry Wintersmith. That's cool stuff. Marvel Comics presents.
It's the 4-issue miniseries, the origin of Wolverine getting the adamantium claws. The story, the Weapon X story. This is
late 80s.
Yep, I would say the other great story, the other great Wolverine story to possibly start off with.
Okay.
I bought this just for the Barry Windsor-Smith art alone.
It's fantastic art. It's Barry Windsor-Smith. Oh, Brian's like, hey, Weapon X is my favorite site. Ooh. Oh, we're gonna get testy in it. You know what? Here's what we'll do. I will do on the community post. I will run a poll, and I will run it, and I'll make it run for 24 hours. I'll set it up after the show. All right, guys. Frank Miller Wolverine versus Weapon X. We'll run for 24 hours. Whichever one gets the most votes wins, because clearly there's enthusiasm for both. I like seeing that. That's good. That means we have a good problem at our hands. And no, we're gonna make a list, but for the next book, we're gauging at some Wolverine. But we're gonna do. We need to do a list, and I think that should be something that we can get fully made on. You know what? Maybe Guild would be the spot to fully make that list. And take care, Joe's Atmosphere.
Hi, Joe.
I think this would be the thing to do. We'll get a full list. We gotta get this stuff written. I know.
Well, actually,
Gilded tab.
Actually, real quick. So you guys have a link. You guys have the link to this, but I'll go ahead and show this here.
Yeah.
Just kind of what I've been slowly accruing is a list I've been slowly putting together of just books we still need to do.
Okay.
And just threw these both on here. Oh, actually, I can move that one because now we've covered it.
Yeah, we did that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Oh, this is I like this comment here from Michael T. It says, okay, Frank Miller's is the definitive version, but the Weapon X story is better. Ooh.
That's a good problem.
Yeah, right. See, what's it?
Yeah.
We're in a really unique situation with this. I like this problem. So, okay. Why don't we let's get the for the X-Men books to read, we should post that list on Gilded.
Well,
I'll figure out a way for people to post suggestions.
Okay, yeah, let's figure that out. I know 5 picoseconds has been able to add some stuff before with Gilded.
You know, Nick, if someone say, look, put together as an impartial guy who isn't like the biggest Wolverine fan, but the most important Wolverine stories go in order. In other words, go in the direction, the way that if someone wanted to read you could just read them all, but if you would say do some of the most important ones in a big omnibus type thing, just for example, right? I would go with that Wolverine Alone first. Wolverine Alone, in X-Men, was it 130 something or other? It was like with the Hellfire Club, Claremont Byrne Austin issue that took place right around before because that's the one that got his notoriety. That's the reason why the Wolverine we know that's popular right now. That issue and that issue alone is why it got that mini series, which branched out and got him his own series, Weapon X story. That is what put him in over the top, into the spotlight, that made the editorial at Marvel go, we need to give him his own, because he just wouldn't have had his own comics probably. So you got that one. Then you've got, of course, the Wolverine miniseries that I was just talking about. That's the one that put him even more. That put it over the top right there. That put him out there. There you go. It was 130. Was it 3?
2 or 133.
133. Okay. So that's it. I remember when I read this, I couldn't believe it.
I love that cover.
A great cover. This is the one that made me really like the character a lot. This is why when they put the Miller one out, I'm going, wow, Frank Miller and that character. Oh my God. I don't even, like I said, he's not in my top 200 characters, but I like him fine. Don't get me wrong, but he wasn't, it just somehow I wanted to see more. And so you have this one here, this one issue, which is part of the Dark Phoenix saga in a sense, but then you have the 4-issue miniseries, and then you have what Caster's talking about, the Weapon X. And obviously those are like the key early Wolverine stories. Not that there aren't many fine ones, of course, that are good elsewhere, but those are the key that if you want, like if you didn't know the character much, you wanted to introduce someone, some of the finest, things that set the character up in the early days. Those are the 3 ones I go with. I say, read this one right here, read that miniseries, and then read like what Caster's talking about, Weapon X. And I'm not saying we have to do that in that order, but I'm saying that's what I would tell someone. If you see where I'm coming from.
One thought I was having is that this could potentially open us up to also then delve into Alpha Flight. I think that would be a good book for us to explore because it's a little bit of an unusual team. And we've kind of talked enough the positive things about it kind of tangentially that I think it'd be worth getting into. And hey, maybe we can get Lord Thoth on here again to talk a little bit about the great Canadian super team.
Looks like we got a lot to think and talk about.
That's a lot on the plate there, but
I'm interested. It's more of a you
gotta have the time.
It's a little bit of a can of worms.
Yeah. Oh, you're underselling it with that can of worms.
He's in this, but there's other elements in this issue, so it wouldn't take long to do that one. That'd be like a very short review on this one.
Yeah.
What if we briefly cover this issue for that and then delve into that solo series in sort of the same stream?
That's something to consider, of course.
Then we only wind up with 5 issues. That's doable in a night.
No, of course. No, that definitely seems like we can definitely take that. Absolutely.
Like 1 week that one, then the next week the other one, like the Weapon X. How many issues of Weapon X was there? Like 6 or 7?
I think 4.
Four, maybe 4. Okay.
The thing with the X-Men is that the roster is so big and there are so many solo titles and spin-offs and everything that is really difficult to. Well, the team is right now. How many people have been in the team? Over 100.
Hundreds.
Well, it's confusing when you look in there. That's why we're trying to be as surface level as this gets to avoid that confusion.
Yeah, because if you wanted to go for a character that people really love, but the issues are kind of mixed bag, Rogue. Especially Rogue when she gets the power from Miss Marvel. Because that's a time where the character really shines, but again, that's a lot of deep cuts, a lot of spin-offs, a lot of crossovers.
We're gonna end up doing a separate X-Men show if that's the route we're going. I get what you're getting at, but at that point, that's gonna need a whole other X-Men show. Which, don't get me wrong, there's enough material there to do it. It's more of, man,
you have Days of Future Past that is actually really good.
I know isn't it like 2 or 3 issues, Days of Future Past? That we could definitely
2 issues, I think.
Okay, 2 issues.
Something like
Okay,
that.
Yeah, it's short.
okay.
But you have a lot of backstory for a lot of characters that you kinda need to know for that.
Mhm.
And again, it's one of those things where the smartest move just to build that familiarity with the characters.
Even the screen
Jeez,
gets a
friggin'
spin
long
off.
shot. Wait a minute. Wait. I have a long
Yes.
shot action figure.
What?
I know who
Oh.
Longshot is. I actually do know Longshot. Also, Empress NM gave a direct donation while Cass was getting his toy out. I do want to acknowledge this great direct dono. And Empress NM with a 20. Woo! Wow. What? Direct donation. And he says, nothing. Embers, dude. Hi, by the way. I hope you have a good Friday. Thanks for tuning into the show. But you could have lost something, but thank you. That is, man, that is nuts. $20, guys. $20 freaking dollars. Thank
For
you.
my long shot.
Thank you. Thank you. All right,
Thank
I'm
you.
zooming on your long shot. Yeah.
Look at all his
Oh,
mulleted
nice.
glory. This is the Toy Biz one. Like, which by the way, his power is he's just really lucky.
Yeah.
Oh my god. If we're gonna do long shot, we gotta go into Mojo. Oh god.
Oh
Me too,
boy.
Me too, D Bud.
Wasn't there some kind of twist to his power that although he's lucky, he can't actually use it?
He can only use it for good. He can't use his power for selfish reasons. So as long as he thinks he's helping people, he'll be fine. Like, I think they did a story where Longshot was made evil, and then he just could not use his power. Oh, we gotta love him.
That's one thing that I love about Domino on the
God, he
second
look-
Deadpool movie.
looks kind of like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. The way that they used the powers for Domino on that movie was actually really fun because she was just walking by. Everything was exploding, everything was going to hell, and she was just there.
Oh, one little quirk about Longshot I want to point out and see if you can catch this. Zoom in on me again real quick. What seems odd? What seems unusual about Longshot?
He's got a Captain Marvel symbol on his chest.
The hand?
He only has 4 fingers.
Oh, you're right. He does have 4 fingers.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
that's
he was
funny.
basically like genetically created to basically be a entertainer for a TV show, and it's kind of based on like a evil TV producer who's like all cartoons. So yeah, they only get 4 fingers in the Mojoverse.
Mojoverse. Oh man, Jeff Danes has I know this is a big one. I never read, but I'm aware of how big this one was. Jeff Danes, how's it going, Jeff? Says, have you all done Old Man Logan yet? If not, that could be another fun Wolverine book.
Not yet.
No, Jeff, you maybe and that's we might need at that rate we're going. We might have the way we have a Fantastic Four month, a Spider-Man month. It sounds like we might need a Wolverine month at the rate. But that is something to consider. It is definitely something to consider, Jeff. So let's just put it this way: it might be a ways away, but the inevitability of it, I think, is inevitable, for lack of a better term.
It's not what I would want to go straight into for doing like Wolverine stuff.
We gotta warm me up a little. Like
Exactly.
Let me have my bowl of cereal before I move into my pancakes and my sausage, then the omelet. Let's butter me up a little bit, okay?
And for that, we need to get a bit into Hawkeye. We need to get a bit into Hulk.
Oh God.
Well, it's difficult to get a lot into Hulk unless.
Well, no. Hulk gets a lot into you in Old Man Logan.
Exactly. No, but, really, we need a bit of lore for Hulk.
Dude.
We need a bit of lore for Hawkeye.
Patrick Swayze wrote this to me. He will always be the man in Roadhouse, but I could totally see what you're getting at, Michael. Oh, yeah. Well, guys, we clearly got a lot to think about. I'm gonna run the community post. We're gonna get this. No, and how about this? I'll run it for 48 hours. That way, you have the entire weekend.
That was gonna be my suggestion. Let's do it
48 hours. You have the entire weekend to vote. That way, if you have even second thoughts, you can go back and change your vote. There will be no 3 a.m. ballot dumps. However, just be sure. Think about it. We'll run it with 2 for now. But once again, we'll keep other ideas open for down the line. But right now, we gotta be as very normie comic friendly per se with this. So it's right now it's looking like Wolverine Miller versus Weapon X. Please vote. And if you got separate accounts, well, that technically is a vote. You can go ahead and utilize that. Unfortunately, this is going to have to be the part where we do this thing called calling it a night. And maybe if we're lucky, maybe we can talk about one of those comic books much sooner. And I mean within the next month, sooner, much rather than later.
Nick, before we close, I just wanted to show this. I was talking about this before the show. Wait, why is not... God damn it. Why is not show... Okay, there we go. This is the card that I got. I was talking before the show.
Doctor.
No, looks...
The First Doctor.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
Ian, where are you?
Yeah.
Dude, I actually am really, really happy. I didn't get the Commander decks, but Iron, I know Universes Beyond is a bunch of shit most of the time. Having this card just makes me happy. It completely makes me happy. I have one of my favorite things in another of my favorite things. My favorite Doctor, is William Hartnell. Is the First Doctor. So I have the First Doctor on a Magic the Gathering card. I know it's stupid, but dude, this is making me so happy. So I got the hard case and everything, so I can have it on hand. And actually, on the reverse, I have the 11th.
Oh.
Yeah, so I love Capaldi, but the Capaldi run was a bit of a mixed bag. But, up to Matt Smith, up to the 11th, I will say I have so much enjoyment of Doctor Who, and having this card I have it in front of me. It makes me happy. It makes me smile, and I don't know. I just wanted to share that.
There you go. Cool.
No, man. It's okay. Hey, you did bring it up before the stream, so may as well. All right. Well, dudes. I'll acknowledge this kind of really quickly, and then we plug in and plug out. Clobby, where should I start with Justice Society? I have read Jeff Johns' Justice Society run. Go ahead and answer.
I can give you one that I really loved. I mean, Justice Society. Obviously, you can go back and read some of the older Golden Age stuff which is cool. But and when they kind of there are a couple things you can do if you like the older stuff, and I know you do, Muhammad. Tracking them down, that's a little bit different. But I used to really enjoy the annual JLA JSA crossovers they did every year, starting somewhere in the mid 60s. Every year they would have one where they would cross the two over from Earth 1 and Earth 2. It became an annual thing up until somewhere into the early 80s or something like that. So they've done like trades where they reprint all of those, but you can find them it was always in the pages of Justice League of America, by the way. So those, you track those down, those are a lot of fun. But I'll also give you this one from around 1991 or 92, and I'll have to exactly pick up. There was a book, it was just called The Justice Society of America. It was with art by the late, great Mike Parobeck, written by a guy named Lynn Straczynski, which was the Justice Society had just been. They were, at the end of Crisis, they went into Valhalla for a while in like a stupid time loop or something. And but they come out and it takes place in the modern DC universe, and they're all older. And it was like only 10 issues, 11 issues. It has, Parabeck has sort of the Bruce Timm type style. Nick, it's he passed, but I think Bruce Timm kind of has similar style to him. It was more of a cartoony type style that you've seen before, I'm sure.
Yeah,
a lot of the other guys. That's one of the best, most entertaining JSA comics. Like I said, it was only like 10 maybe issues, 10, 11, but it was called Justice Society. Let me see if I can pull that up and find them a picture of it to show them where it is. Because, when you pull that, when you Google that, you're going to find a million different things, right? So let me see if I can find that for you, because there's so many volumes. Man, oh man, let me just see if I can chance upon it here. I mean, there are bazillion titles. Oh my god! Because like I said, if the Jeff Johns one lasted forever, that's one you use. Oh, I found a picture of it. I found.
Oh, all
right. Let's see. Not that one. I think I found it. Oh, shoot. I don't know what volume you call it. Well, damn.
While you're getting that going, I got a direct donation.
Nice.
Let's see here. Let's see here.
There we go.
Vulcan lives, and he gives for 10. And he says, "Since my nemesis TZ Burton isn't here, I will cover his usual contribution." LOL. Thanks for another great show tonight, dude. Vulcan, you didn't have to, but thank you. You're making up for the competition. That is freaking funny, dude. I'm just glad you're hanging out with us, man. All right, and here we won't forget this book. Thank you, Vulcan lives, sir. Thank you. All right. Oh, that's a great cover.
I really love this
Cover.
series. It lasted 10 issues.
Oh, I want to read this, man.
You should, man. It was a lot of
this
fun.
Looks
Very throwback.
awesome.
They had this this was like 1990. I want to say 92, maybe 93. I think maybe. They were older. They were in the regular DC universe, and let's see. I love the issue where Alan Scott kicks Guy Gardner's ass. Perfect, real deal, Alan Scott. And these guys, it was true. It was just pure fun and pure great superhero stuff,
dude. This looks holy shit, Clobby.
I love this book. I really did. I wish they did a trade or something.
In our group message on the comic shop, please get the creative team. I want to read this.
Lynn Straczynski, and I'll put a link. This is the Comic Vine page for him. I'll put a link.
No, go ahead.
In the chat
in our group. Yeah, that group message. I want to read this run.
Oh, I think I could put it in the regular chat. Yeah, I have a.
Oh yeah, you can do that too. I'm just saying for us dudes on the panel.
Okay, for sure.
For further, because I want to read this. This looks like something that's right up my alley to enjoy. This is
I think you might enjoy it. I really enjoyed this book right here.
All right,
I'll put
guys.
it in the chat, in our chat,
here.
private right there as well. Put it in the private.
There you go, Conquest. That's a run to check out. I'm gonna be joining you guys. Clobby. Maybe that could be our show to talk about.
One of these days, man.
Maybe this could be it. This could be the one. I think this. You know what? This should be the motivation right here. This should be the one.
Yeah.
Justice Society of America 10-issue run.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously, this looks like it's screaming out to me.
I think you'd enjoy it. It's a lot, just pure fun, superhero fun. And the heroes, the older heroes, acting like at that time, like there's this great scene in the first issue when some young cop and old cop are standing next to each other, and one of them says something like, that's the Flash. Who's that? He's too old or whatever. He says these guys are the originals, the real heroes, not that guy you're thinking of that runs around dating starlets and all it's got because at the time Wally West was going to fool himself. These guys are the originals. Yeah. And it's a lot of heart to it. Yeah, it's fun.
Sold on this.
So sad when it didn't last. So anyway, and God rest Mike Parabeck. He was taken from us way too young.
I'm sold. I'm sold. This is my next DC comic I'm reading. Full.
Let me know what you think.
Fucking stop. That's it. That's it. Like anything. I will post it right after the show ends, Brian. I will get on the poll. Trust me, I will get on it. I'm just running the show here, sir. But I promise you, don't you worry, man. You have not been forgotten and ignored. We're gonna plug our channels on the way out. Okay.
By the way, there was 1 years before it. There was like a 8-issue miniseries, which was not. It was okay when it wasn't quite as good as that one there, but it was still all right.
All right. Well,
this is
anyway. This is the book for me to check out. It once again, it's screaming out to me. But we're gonna plug our channels on the way out, guys. I'll keep your eyes and ears. Like I said, even if you can't get to right away, I'm gonna make sure we keep it up for 48 hours for the poll. Okay. Other than that, in the chat, I posted a link to the Ultimate Spider-Man news. If you haven't watched that video, do check it out. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Toxic Tuesday, we'll be talking White Men Can't Jump. Next week, we'll be back here for the Comic Shop Talk as well. And of course, find me Tuesday, Thursday, Midnight Edge After Dark. I'll be a part of the show too. And next Saturday, I guess I could say this now, I will be back on West from Thinking Critical's Comics Aficionados next Saturday morning. So it's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. And of course, Comics Divisions Thursday night throwdown. And of course, I'll have a video out, whatever that may be, next week as well. So do check out my Ultimate Spidey video. Yes, do catch Toxic Tuesday again. And once again, Osmora, thank you for all the gifted memberships. And Brian McCann, thank you for becoming a member, sir. And Vulcan Lives and Emperors, thank you guys for your crazy, huge direct donations. So thank you guys very much. And thank you guys for your time and energy and chat. I love seeing what people are interested in, what is saying, hey, what's going on here? We should talk about this. I love seeing the engagement. It lets us everyone participate and say, hey, let's do this. So we're a unified voice. So that's what the Comic Shop Talk is. So anyways, that's what's coming on my side. I'm going to let these guys round it up as we wrap it up, saying good night. Fenrir, I know you got nothing coming out, but do you have any final words?
I managed to make it to 300 subs on my channel. Come on, people, move your asses and get me to 500. Maybe I'll move mine at some point. Probably not. But you know what I'm about. Look, at someday, sometime, I can't exactly give specifics. I will get off my ass. You have my word. But it's not today, not tomorrow. Someday.
I love you. Never change.
Love you too, buddy. But yeah, go sub my channel, help me get bigger, and maybe, just maybe, I'll do something. No promises.
All right, excellent, Fenrir. Good to have you here, sir. You have a great night and weekend. And then,
thanks, brother.
Pablo.
Hey, more videos coming on Midnight Edge, so keep tuned. Actually, there's a lot of fun stuff happening on that front, so please keep tuned to Midnight Edge. A lot of things will happen, and with Disney on the situation that is, I will say Andrew's having a lot of fun, and I mean it. You can feel when Andre is just giggling while writing the script and while recording the audio. It's
Pablo,
there's
I
something
need you to write this to make this video faster.
dude. When I edited the video about Gina suing Disney,
Yeah.
I could feel on his voice how excited he was about the prospect of this just messing more and more with Iger, especially with Elon Musk being there. So I just look for images of Elon Musk grinning and enjoying himself because that was the sensation that I got from Andres' voice. It's like he could imagine Elon Musk twirling his mustache and enjoying a sip of a really good booze, laughing like a maniacal evil man. That sensation of pure joy on the voice of Andre was incredible. So yeah, all the shit that is going on with Disney and Elon Musk joining with Nelson Peltz, joining with Ike Perlmutter, videos are coming and there's a lot of joy to have there. So please keep tuned to that. Also, probably say the 14 for the first back to streams for Midnight Search Español. I need a confirmation on that, but I think it's the 14. It will be awesome going back to doing live shows for Midnight Search Español. Also, to be honest, I have been doing this on my Spanish channel because I don't know how to use really sharp tools and talk in English at the same time. I'm kind of trying to get a hang of it because I have been preparing my next deck box for my finally complete Genet decks. I really like just working on metal, working on wood, and talking about comics and about series while I do so. So I want to take that for my channel. It's really difficult to concentrate and speak English at the same time. So please don't expect too much from that. But I want to do that. Other than that, well, guys, I enjoy this very, very much. Today I was drinking and enjoying, and it was great. So, brothers,
No,
I
man.
just love being here.
I love it here too, and it was great. It was bloody damn good, great. You have a great weekend. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your knowledge and energy and all around greatness, sir. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi there. You caught me just like scratching.
Yes, I did.
At least you didn't pull a Bosch.
Yeah. Or yeah, Vosh DSP. I don't look like I didn't do any of those this time. Hello, my friends. It's Ironcaster, and guys, this has been such a delight to be here. Nick, Klobby, Pablo, Fenrir. Every week is an absolute delight to be here with you guys. To sit and nerd about comics and sit down and like decide like which good books are we gonna read. Like we're not exactly clamoring to talk about Miss Marvel.
Oh no, we're not talking about.
Although now that I mention that, maybe the OG Miss Marvel, maybe some of the early stuff will be something to do down the road. But
You mean the fun one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Carol Danvers when she was sexy as hell.
Yes. But anyway, you can find me on my channel, Ironcaster, where I will sometimes talk about
Well, it's
big
basically
robots.
an
including
anime
some-
female character because of the drunkenness.
Go ahead and finish.
Anyway,
Casper.
this Monday I'm doing the Mech Pit chat. I do Monday evenings on my channel. We're doing the Mech Pit chat where we're talking about a lot of big robot nonsense and all kinds of cool stuff. Does it just look cool? Yeah, we're probably talking about it. tomorrow I should hopefully be back on with T-shirt historian for the Weekend Geek, where we will no doubt be talking about Wizards of the Coast, because they sure like to get into all sorts of naughty business.
Yeah.
And Tuesday I'm back with Pops and Stone Loki to cover Halo.
Ooh.
Ah.
Season 2 just started, so we have to suffer. Yeah, Halo. Yeah, Highlander 2 is starting to sound pretty good. I think I got everything, but wait. Hey,
You're missing something. Oh.
really? Like, that's where you took my glasses? Well, they're mine now. They fit. No,
Yeah.
they don't. They're hanging off your face. Do you really have to do this now? Yeah. Yeah, I think I look better.
I puppet.
He need ears.
You're silly.
Oh. All right, puppet. You look cool with glasses, but Nick Weiser is got a face plant. And if he doesn't
Look,
face
he's
plant,
drunk too. He can barely keep the glasses on.
He stole
he
my
doesn't-
glasses.
if he doesn't face plant now, this stream's gonna run overnight while I'm sleeping. We don't need I'm not drunk 3PO, or at least I'm not gonna try to be drunk 3PO and fall asleep on my chair while the stream is running. But Caster, tell you and your puppet, it's been great. It's been fantastic. You have a magical, and yes, you too, puppet. You too.
Yeah, it's Charlie.
Charlie,
Yay.
thank you. All right, Clubby. Saturday Night Star Trek, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you for
Oh,
having me, buddy. It
yeah.
was great hanging out with you wonderful people in the chat and my good buddies on the panel. Yeah, tonight, tomorrow night, I say Saturday night, Star Trek. We begin season 5 of Star Trek Voyager, 4 episodes reviewed by myself and my wonderful, lovely first officer, Commander R.M. Briggs. And Sunday night geekery. I think Mark D will have that. It'll be later because of the Super Bowl. We're both going to probably watching that and getting home late or whatever. But I think he's going to do it, and if he does, we'll be there on Mark D's channel. And then on my channel Monday, I have 2 shows, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time and an early special time like I do every B Monday of the month. It's a visit to Earth B. My buddy J-Man and I reviewing a Bob Haney classic since it's Superman month on Clobbering Times. It will involve Superman this time instead of a regular Brave and the Bold issue. And then later at 9 p.m. Central, the regular time from Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk, a good buddy of mine, Carlos from the Comics Mania Mexico, the radio show, is going to join me. We're going to review the Alan Moore masterpiece, Alan Moore Dave Gibbons, I should say, Superman Annual number 11 for the Man Who Has Everything.
Ooh.
And it's a great one. And then, of course, the usual shows. Wednesday night, the great Max Redstone is going to join me to talk about Superman 2. And we have a big argument, and he wants to argue about that because I have problems with Superman 2. Big time, the Lester cut, of course. So we'll be doing that. So anyway, thanks for having me, my friends. And everyone have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you, Clubby. Appreciate it,
Thank
sir.
you, buddy.
Have a great night and weekend. Go kill it on Saturday Night Trek. All righty.
Thanks,
Chat, it's been good. It's been great. I'll see you all next week on Midnight Edge After Dark and on Toxic Tuesday. If not a video, go watch my Ultimate Spidey video if you haven't. And of course, D-Bud, keep an eye out for your package. You too, Chernobyl, if you're still listening. Yours will ship tomorrow, man.
Keep an eye
Thank
on your
you, guys.
package.
Yeah, I know.
Peace.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
guys.